Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, guys, I need to make sure that it's working. So, let's see. I don't think I need the volume on, right? No volume. Wrong hand. Is it working? It's still not streaming on my computer yet. Yeah, that's a little bit better. There we go. Now it's working. I need to make sure that my computer audio was on. My apologies. You'd think this is my first time doing it or something. It's definitely not my first time doing it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Hey, you like the background pictures? Funny story with the background pictures. I'm going to tell you in one sec. One sec. Let's see. Okay, I want to tell you guys the funny story with the background pictures. Not that it's like all that funny of a story. Hey, Clint, I was just looking at your message. I will respond to you as soon as this is done. I'm glad you guys can hear me loud and clear. So let me tell you the story with these, right? Do you see how there's like a hole right here? Well, if I go up, there's also like a hole right there. There's matching like sizes to that are supposed to go right here and here. But as I was putting that nail in the wall, the neighbor got mad. So I just haven't, because I don't want to piss off the neighbor next door. But that's the situation with the pictures behind me. Thank you to my lovely girlfriend for getting those. I'm sure you guys can see. There's more of them over there, but only so many could fit over here without me knocking them off of the wall. Kevin, you're wondering what I ordered for myself. I ordered several things for myself, Kevin. That's the answer. I got myself new gas cans this week. New gas cans so I don't run out of gas at Salton Sea. Mostly because Judson stole one of my gas cans, and I may or may not be a little upset about it. But it's fine. I'm sure I'll figure out life without one of my gas cans. I don't know what happened to it. He still has it somewhere. It's somewhere floating around. I don't know. He told me he's going to get it back. How you doing? How you doing? Holy cow. Thank you for your comments about my videos. Did I ever have problems with oscillation on the final leg of paramotor landing? Hey, Dave. How you doing? It's at Salton. Oh, good to hear my gas cans at Salton. I just figured I gave Judson that as a Christmas gift, even though his Christmas and birthday gift is going to come sometime before his birthday. But I didn't tell him that yet. But it is. Did I ever struggle with oscillation on the final leg of landing? I'm sure I did. But to be honest with you, that was 10 years ago, and I don't really remember 10 years ago, sadly. Like, I don't remember a lot of my first flights. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of my first flights. I don't remember what it was like to be that new. I'm sorry. I just have been flying for so long, and the reality is, like, when if you try and think of 13 years old, can you remember much of being 13 years old? Because I can't remember much of being 13 years old. I can't even remember being 18. And that wasn't even that long ago. I'm 23, by the way, just in case you were wondering. And I brewed myself a cup of coffee at 6 o'clock so that I could talk for at least an hour. Let's see. Specifically when it comes to oscillation right before your first flare. Good question. I could help answer that. Are there not places to fill up at Salton Sea? Should I bring as many gas cans as I can? No, here's why I got more gas cans, Clint. Because I have a feeling that I'm going to be lending gas to a lot of people. Like, I just end up being that guy. And so I don't want to go to get gas for myself and there not be not much gas left for me. And so I figured I would just bring extra gas cans so that I had lots of gas on hand so that I don't have to be going to the gas station every day. Like, I don't want to go to the gas station every day. That's the situation. What is my fly camping setup? Red Earth Casino is where to fill up at Salton. Good. See, Kevin can fly already needing my gas. I knew it was going to happen, Kevin. You still remember skating rinks and Friday nights. I'm glad you can. I can't. Maybe it's because I repressed all of the memories of being younger. Hello, everybody. We have 27 people in. That's good news. That means that there's more than one person that's my friend. Please list your fly camping gear. Actually, I do have a list of my fly camping gear. I can probably get you that list of fly camping gear here in just a second. Where did I put that list of fly camping gear? At the moment, I don't remember, but I can help show you. I can show you some of my favorite things. I can show you some of my favorite things. It depends. It depends. Do you want the expensive fly camping gear or the cheap fly camping gear? And Kevin, I am not Mormon and I've never been Mormon, just so you know. But all my friends were Mormon, so I kind of sort of grew up Mormon without being Mormon because all of them were Mormon, and by default, I just had to kind of do the things they were doing. On a scale of 9 to 10, how much do you miss flying with us? Dave, I miss flying with you 11 out of 10. Okay? I really do. I really do. Sorry. Let's see. Where is my... Let me find you a couple of those fly camping goodies. I've done some research recently. What wing have you found to be the most efficient in your flying career? The Dudek Warp. Oh, you guys want to hear what I got today? I got something today. My bank account is not happy, but man, I got something. You guys ready for it? If my girlfriend's listening, she's probably going to be pissed because I did not tell her about this yet. You guys want to know what I bought today? I got myself something today. Got me something new. And by the way, that question of what wing I have found to be the most efficient in my flying career, that is a loaded question because are you talking paragliding or paramotoring? Because there's two very different answers to both. But Kevin, I'll tell you because I want to, and I want to talk about it because I'm excited about it. I got me a Dudek Warp 2. I got myself a Dudek Warp 2, and I think the most efficient paramotor wing I've ever flown is like a Dudek Warp 1. It's pretty freaking efficient. Okay, I'm going to post a link in the description, guys. This is a link to... Ooh, should I do it? Should I do it? It's a link to my favorite fly camping tent. No, I'm not going to post that one. I won't do that. I'll do that one. I'll do that stuff later. Let's see. Of course we want to know. Yeah, a Dudek Warp 2, boys. I got me a Dudek Warp 2. Let me show you the colors that I got, too. All right, okay. I got myself me a Warp 2. I'm a dealer for Dudek, so everybody, Dudek things are available at backcountry/Dudek. And I got myself a size 18 Dudek Warp 2. We out here, Josh McGee. Dude, when you gotta come out west again, Josh. When you gotta come out west. Will you be doing kiting training this summer? I am actually considering doing a week-long class down in Corpus Christi, Texas. Not Corpus Christi, Crystal Beach, Texas, for just kiting. Let's see. Hi, Trevor. Is an old ITV Boxer still a great wing for a beginner? I'm sure it is. It's more so... The question you got to ask yourself with, like, older gear is how tough is it going to be to launch? Like, is it beat up really badly, or is it still nice and fresh? Because if it's heavy and beat up, then you're not going to want to launch it. And if you don't want to launch the wing that you fly, you're just not going to fly. So the most important thing is that it's still easy to launch and still easy to fly. If it is, then you're good to go. Do you think an ITV Piper would be a good choice for a 50 flight pilot currently on an EZR Abco? Looking for speed for cross-country flying, mainly interested in speed and moderate agility. I don't think the ITV Piper fits what you are asking, Warren. The ITV Piper, from my experience, is not a very good cross-country wing because it's not very efficient. And what you want with the cross-country wing is efficiency. You don't want a very... you don't want a gas-hungry wing if you're trying to fly cross-country because that's going to limit your range. And the ITV Piper, from my experience, is a gas-hungry wing. Also, 50 flights is not a lot of flights. And it's not a lot of flights. I would say, I mean, it depends. Like, how many hours have you flown? Yes, Kevin is right. Like, the Hadron 3 is a great, great, great cross-country wing for the intermediate to advanced pilot. But at 50 flights, I don't think you should be on a Hadron 3. At 50 flights, you should be on something like a Spider 3. Again, it depends on how many hours and what kind of flying you do in those 50 flights. But you should really be on like a Spider 3 or like a Sky Flux, which is a cross-country wing, and it'd probably do a pretty good job. Or like a Dudek Solo or Universal. Universal is pretty good for that. Or I'm not a big fan of the ITV Wasabi, but you know that could possibly work for you. Let's see. Is the Link 2 faster than the Sky Flux Pro? We need to make a decision. I need to make a decision. I'm in the market for a conventional airfoil. I have a strong feeling that the Flux is faster than the Link 2. I have not speed tested both of them on the same day, same altitude, but I will tell you that that Flux is really freaking fast. The Flux is really fast for what it is. Like, I'm doing 40 miles an hour on a Flux. 40 miles an hour on a Flux. Traditional airfoil, ENC, or like an ENC certification. Like, if it was certified, I'd probably pass an ENC. It's not EN certified, but I think that's what it would get if it took the test. It actually handles collapses better than the AWOC 3, which is ENC certified. I had a 2016 Boxer. It was hard to launch. There you go. Answer right there. I probably wouldn't do it if it's a hard wing to launch. Does cross-country wing exist with ENA or EMB? Yeah, I mean, a cross-country wing, any wing can be a cross-country wing. Let's be honest. It's just what we classify as a cross-country wing is a wing that flies fast, it flies stable, and it's efficient. Like, that's a cross-country wing, although there's no, like, official thing. It's like, hey, can you go in a straight line quickly and not burn a lot of fuel? That's kind of what a cross-country wing is. You could totally get it in an ENA or an EMB. I mean, technically, it's Ozone Spider 3, which is an ENB-certified wing, is a cross-country wing. Let's see, what are we at? A good mid is the Flux. Yeah, the Flux is totally underrated. I'm just going to throw that out there. Like, I got to say, the Flux is a pretty freaking sweet wing. It's not like a Sirocco 3, but it's maybe somewhat like a Spider 3. It's an it's like an ENC certified wing. It collapses well. It's easy to launch. It's easy to land. I think people underestimate that Sky Flux. Viper XC for the win. Jeremy, I would love to try a Viper XC. Tell Aviator to send me one already. But I do think that Viper XC is going to be sweet. I will be honest with you, though. I'm going to be real with you here. I don't think that Viper XC is going to keep up with a Warp 2. Now, I haven't flown the Viper XC. I haven't flown a Warp 2. But I'm just saying, from what I've seen, I don't think a Viper XC is going to keep up with a Warp 2. But I am really excited about that Viper XC, and I could see myself owning a Viper XC. Because I love the Viper XC. I love the idea of it because I loved my Viper 5, and the only thing I didn't love about the Viper 5 is it moved a lot, and I think they fixed that with adding those winglets. Freeride 2 versus Warp 2. Mike, that's a great question. They are two totally different wings. A Freeride 2 is like a play slalom wing where you just go crank and spank. A Warp 2 is like a cross-country bullet that flies fast, stable. Like, no means are they to compare, or even in the same class. Like, if you put a Freeride 2 and a Warp 2 on a cross-country race, the Warp 2 is going to run away. If you put a Warp 2 and a Freeride 2 on a slalom track, yeah, the Freeride 2 is going to whoop it. It just depends on what you're trying to do, which is why I own both. But why is everyone talking about the Spider 3 and no one talks about the Roadster 3? Because most people foot launch, and most people want the easiest to launch wing possible, and that's the Spider 3. And not that the Roadster is hard to launch, but it's harder to launch than the Spider 3, and so I recommend the Spider 3 over the Roadster 3. And I think AJ going, I think that's his name. I think AJ said it best, and you think of the difference between a Spider 3 and a Roadster 3 like taking weight out of a car. If you're driving a car on a racetrack and you remove like 300 pounds of weight, it's going to perform better. So by making a lighter wing, it just handles a little bit better. Let's see. I don't like that I don't like it doesn't have leading edge supports. Makes me feel like it's old tech. Kevin, what are we talking about? I'm not really sure. What do you think about Ozone adding winglets to their XC wings? I love it. I'm here for it. I think it is a unique way of solving the oscillation problem, but it definitely does the job. It does limit your agility, maneuverability. Like from what I've heard people say, it does not handle, the Viper XC does not handle as well as the Viper 5, which is to be expected because you basically have two little fins stopping it from rolling. The only thing I don't like are those little Mickey Mouse ears on the top of the Viper. They do look, I think they look cool. I guess it's a personal thing. Spider is a lightweight, cheaper wing. It kites hands off and launches with the breeze. Yeah, dude, the Spider is just stupid easy to launch. Only thing I don't like about the Viper, they said the Viper XC hit 85. Not sure if a tailwind, though. Yeah, Jeremy, it was definitely with a tailwind. There's no way it's hitting 85 miles an hour flat and level without a tailwind. I know for a fact it was a tailwind because if you watch the video, there was a tailwind and they said that. The soft shackles on the Spider make me nervous. Shackles. What do you mean? The flux. What about the flex, Kevin? Hang on, I know we were talking about something. You just don't like that it does have leading edge support. The flex totally does have leading edge support. I don't know what you're talking about there, Kevin. Why are bigger wings more difficult to kite? Is it just me? There's more surface area to them. They move slower, but they're also harder to recover. Like as they start to go down, it takes more effort to bring them back up because there's more of them. Andrew, I am drinking a cup of Black Rifle coffee right here with a little bit of, I believe, hazelnut creamer. Let's see, where are we at? It was a 30-mile-an-hour FAR 103 limits top speed at 55. No, it doesn't. No way. I'm pretty sure FAR 103 limits you faster than 53. I'm totally going to just screw myself over right now thinking that. It's faster than 55. I'm pretty sure it's like 60-something that we're allowed up to. I'm pulling up my ground school. Did you guys know I wrote a big old ground school? 63 miles an hour. Mike, the top speed according to FAR 103 is 63 miles an hour or 55 knots. That's where you get the 55. I got your little paramotor guy coming, same color as your favorite wing. I can't wait. Thank you, Andrew. Does lightweight wings like the Spider 3 wear out faster? Are they less durable? Yes, they are less durable and they do wear out faster. That is the downside to the lightweight material. You guys want to know something else that I have coming? I've got so many things coming this year. Okay, so I also want to tell you guys a little bit of something, all right? This year, one of the things that I really want to do is provide a lot of unbiased videos, unbiased, objective videos on the equipment on the market at the moment. Now, I am as guilty as everybody else of having bias and having some bias towards equipment reviews, right? You go watch a review video, there's some bias, whatever. I'm guilty of it more than anybody else. But this year in specific, I really want to work to having unbiased opinions about all of the equipment out there. Because there isn't a reason for me to be biased, and there isn't a reason for me to be biased because I can recommend any wing and any motor. But most importantly, I want to recommend what I truly like. And so the goal for me is to try and make content around like every piece of equipment out there and do so in the most unbiased way possible. Is it possible? We shall see. But I really would like to do that because there's not a lot of information about a lot of the wings out there. And I want there to be more information and more videos and more things for people to consume and more things for potential buyers to actually look at before making a purchase. Because it's a big purchase. Dude, you're spending like $4 grand on a wing. You want to make sure it's the right wing. And like, there's 100 million wings out there. So that's my goal. At Salton Sea, if you guys are at Salton Sea and you have equipment that you are willing to let me fly and try and make a quick video on, I would love that. I want to make as many unbiased videos as possible. What's unbiased about the Mav Max Factory R on a 140 prop? I think that's like the best paramotor. I'm so excited about the Mav Max. I want a Mav Max really, really bad. I think that's probably one of the best 140 prop paramotors out there. Because I love my Parajet Maverick. Is there a Roadster 4 or Spider 4 coming out soon? I don't know. You should have Ozone. Objective reviews. I've tried a lot of gear. I really like what I got. Just my own butt dyno. There are some awkward motors out there. There's plenty of stuff out there. What were you not kidding about, Jeremy? There's plenty of stuff out there that is not super great, and there's plenty of stuff out there that is super great. And most importantly, there's not a lot of information about a lot of things. Like, I feel like there's a lot of very vague descriptions for equipment out there. Like, if you go read a website's description about a lot of things, it's pretty vague. It's not very descriptive. It's not very in-depth, and I want to bring that, and I want to show videos, and I want to, like, actually show the reality of a lot of equipment out there. So, Kevin, I would love to fly your Power to Fly. Kurt, go with the Speedster 22. It's my next level up from Roadster. Yeah, I mean, if you like the Speedster, the Roadster is going to be everything you liked about the Speedster, but better. I think Homie flew a flat top for 10 years. I did fly a flat top for 10 years, and Andrew, I think it's best I just not review a flat top. I think it's probably best I don't review a flat top. Unless you guys really think I should review a flat top, I think I'm just going to say no. I think I just let Dell live in Dell's little world. But I do want to try a Power to Fly. And on top of, thank you, I appreciate that comment. On top of the Warp 2 that I have coming, I also have, hopefully, a Kangook coming. Kangook Amaruk. That would mean I have 4 different paramotors. 4 different paramotors. It's a roll cage with a prop on the back. How long before we have wavy leading edge for PPG? I know we have that in paragliding. I know Jin came out with something for that, didn't they? They came out with some super slick paraglider that had like a curvy front edge to it. Could totally be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure they did, and I don't know 100%. Oh, yeah, they sure did. The Wave. I have no idea. I have no idea on that one. I don't know what to tell you. Rocket Burn 11, but I would love to see that. I really wish they were more humble because he could reach so many people positively. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that one. I tried for a while. There isn't a lot of new videos out this time of year. Thank you for the videos you've been putting out the last couple of weeks. I'm trying, guys. Look, all right, not all of my videos are that great, and I'm working on it. I'm trying to make better content. This year, I'm going to try and change some things up and take a little bit more time for each one of my videos and make sure they're a little bit higher quality. I've got my buddy coming to town again so he can help me film because I've kind of been a one-man show, and also I did not fly all of December because the weather was just not good. And so it's just been a weird situation, but I got 6 videos ready to upload right now, and I'm just slowly going to let those bad boys roll out. Slowly let them roll out. I posted some on the AWOC 3, which was super cool, and I'd love to tell you guys a little bit about that. I've got some super fun mountain flying videos that I did in the snow. It was snow covered, and some motor reviews coming, a little bit of something. Weather crap here on the East Coast as well. I'm sure it is. Okay, but this Boomerang 12 Gin Glider, I mean, this thing looks pretty freaking sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like gliders have come a long way in recent time, and this is just a step in that direction. I think Chris Sanacroce has one here. Let's see. If you get out here, you can fly my PAP. If you haven't already, very happy with it. Goes together and takes apart in 60 seconds. I actually really want to fly a PAP, and I really want to fly a MacFly. If you're at Salton Sea and you have a PAP or a MacFly, please hit me up. The editing is what kills me. It's a slow, tedious process. I'll tell you this, YouTube is a full-time job on top of everything else that's a full-time job in the paramotor world. We'll catch up with you next year. You can fly Scrappy with my Skyboxer. It's no Zeus 300. I would love to rip around on the Zeus 300, try and power loop that bad boy. Although it's probably good that I don't own one because I probably would try and power loop it. I've got 2 wings that are power loopable. I've got the Freeride 2, which has done it, and I've got the AWOC 3, which has done it. I am excited to fly my, I'm very excited to fly my Freeride 2 a little bit more down at Salton Sea. Here in Utah at 5,000 feet when the density altitude is like 6,000 or 7,000, I don't really feel like launching a 16-meter free ride 2, which is why I haven't flown my free ride too much, because my AWOC 3 is 17 and my Warp 1 is 18, so I've kind of been switching for those because it's just hard to run really fast with a lot of ski gear on, which is why I haven't really flown my free ride 2. Do you think a reserve is worth it? JB, I think a reserve should be mandatory. Andrew, if you are at Salton Sea or Flying Circus, I would love to try that. Let's see, Mike, I love my Fly Products rider with the Factory R. Weight shift is phenomenal. I want to try it. Please let me try your Fly Products rider. I've actually never flown any Fly Products motors. I have never flown one. I'd like to. I've just have not had the opportunity to. I just want to say as well, if any of you are going to get upset about it, or before you get upset about it or mention anything, I think all of these are crooked. I did not put a single one up straight, and you guys can roast me for it all you want, but I'm just saying that that's the situation, and it was intentional. Because I bought a reserve with my instructor, said it was quite useless, and he never flies with one. JB, I don't know who your instructor is, but he should really not give a new pilot that advice, and that has me worried. You should reach out to me personally. If he's a USPPA instructor, I'd like to let the USPPA know, as I don't think an instructor should be saying that. A reserve, look, okay, here's the situation with a reserve. It adds like 4 pounds, okay, so what? And if you ever need one, and you don't have one, you're going to really wish you had one. But if you need one and you have one, man, that's cheap insurance, dude. I just think it's so worth it to have a reserve. You just have to have a reserve. It's cheap insurance. It's not free, but it's cheap. I mean, it's like, what, $1,000, let's say, at the most for a reserve? Come on, dude. That's cheap insurance. And, Kevin, you were right. Some instructors should really not be instructors. Do you fly a trike much? I do not fly a trike much. I flew a trike a couple times last year, but ever since I left, I have not had a trike in my possession. Sadly, I am French, but I still love your content. Yeah, I agree with your point of view. Look, I made a video about reserves back in like August. And there's like this argument that if you always fly low, what's the point of having a reserve? And I just want to ask you, okay? If you get hit with turbulence, what is the first thing you do? You climb. You get altitude, because altitude is your friend and it gives you time to work things out. So now you went from reserve not working altitude to reserve working altitude. So you may as well have one. It's a cheap way of ensuring that you're not going to just fall out of the sky. I just answered that. Just out here tinkering. Look, at least from my experience, and you guys could be totally different. Totally different. But if I am flying and it's bumpy, and I'm cruising low, and it's bumpy, the very first thing I do when I get hit with very bumpy conditions is I climb up 50 to 100 feet so that I have room to do things. Maybe even higher. Now I'm at 150 feet. A reserve will probably work at 100 feet. It'll probably work at 150 feet. It's not guaranteed. No reserve toss is guaranteed. But man, I'm going to be so happy if I need it and I have it and it works. So may as well, because like I'm not going to fly 10 feet off the ground if it gets bumpy, because sync could put you in the ground in a matter of seconds at 10 feet. Sync could put you into the ground in probably 1 to 2 seconds at 10 feet. If it's like a really nasty day, or you get hit with rotor, whatever, you're going right into the ground. So I'm not going to cruise at 10 feet on a bumpy day. Let's see. I wonder why even PPG Bible says no reserves on first flights. Look, like first handful of flights at a school, I can get. Like, I don't necessarily put reserves on my training units, but I won't sell a paramotor if it does not have a reserve. Because if you're at home and you need a reserve and you don't have one, you're going to wish you had one. So you may as well have one. But I can understand not having one on like a student's first flight, only because like butt landings happen on student first flights. And if you butt land and pop it out of the bag, now you have a whole situation to deal with. So I can maybe understand that. And maybe you'll grab it on accident or bump it, but you really should just have a reserve. I wonder why PPG reserves haven't gone to spring-loaded shoe reserves. It's because of weight. We're weight weenies. I feel like you fly with other people, you should definitely have a reserve. I've seen so many mid-air collisions. A reserve is the only thing that saves the pilot. A reserve is... There should be no question of the value of a reserve. Use and have a reserve, okay? And Chris Santacroce and Shane Denharder did a video a while back about reserves, and I'm going to link it because I think all of you should watch it, and I think it's great information. Okay, I'm linking this video. This is a must-watch if you have any question about reserves. I have never tossed a reserve. Pull the handles, spring eject the reserve, take the whole pulls, throw into the wind, not too much time. Our reserves are designed to be self-deployed, but it would be cool to have a BRS system and an acro-based system. I mean, I guess. It'd be cool to have a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm just happy to have a reserve that is going to open if I need it. Okay, now I also am going to show you one more thing. All right, guys, one more thing. This is going to be the only plug, but I did make these shirts. These shirts, and they are available. I just put the link in the video. You don't have to buy one. Don't care if you do. Don't care if you don't. Next month, I'm going to have way cooler designs on the 14th, February 14th, but the people making them could not make cool enough shirts, or they could not get the design done fast enough, so I didn't. Look, the cool designs are not done yet. They've taken me a little while to make. I'm getting all tripped up on my own words here, okay, guys? Second chance at life, who would want that? Sarcasm. I guess. I'm starting to get into the sport. Dell seems like the best teacher. Can I have your take, please? I hope you're kidding, Biker. Are you being sarcastic or are you being honest? Because if you're being honest, I'll give an honest opinion. If you're being sarcastic, I'm not going to. So please let me know if you're being honest or if you're being sarcastic. I'd like to know. And if you guys want a better shot of the shirt, here you go. There you go. There's your shot of the shirt. That's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to get. So Better Mike, please, are you being honest? Do you want my opinion on Dell or do you not want my opinion on Dell? Because I'm not going to give it if you're being sarcastic. Well, Dell's a great teacher, but he's not open-minded. Andrew, how do you test a reserve? What do you mean test your reserve? I would not. What do you mean? Well, Biker Mike, I would say if you were. Oh man, now you're gonna get me ranting on Dell. How does every live stream turn into me ranting on Dell? Here's the thing. I don't actually think. How do I say that without? How do I say that? That's a tough one. I would definitely, absolutely, 100% not go to Dell for instruction paramotor related. If you would like if you would like the same quality of glider control instruction, come here to Utah. I do not think anybody does as good of a job as we do here in Utah. I have a team that helps me. It's not just me. The guys that I built to help me at Super Training now help me here in Utah. And it is a much better system because Dell was never open-minded to improvements. Dell was never open-minded to changing. We are. I change, I improve, I adapt, and I make a better training program. The way that I can say that confidently is because if you look at success rate of students that went there and success rate of students that went here and those that actually went on to do something and actually continue to fly, the success there was very poor. The success here is very good. That's just the situation. That's just the reality. I can go into more detail in private, but I probably shouldn't go into more detail publicly. And Clint, I decided not to make those shirts. I can make you one, though, if you would like me to. I bought a parachute for the reserve, but can't find a bag big enough, so at the moment I can't use it. Frustrating. Find someone who can help you there. Biker Mike, call me. Let's talk about it a little bit more. Because I would definitely not go to Super Training. Here's what I'll tell you. You'll learn glider control, but you won't learn anything else. And it's a very unfinished product is what it comes down to. It's just unfinished. You're getting half of it. Not even half. You're getting a fourth of it. And that's kind of it. And if you want the rest of the training, if you want to actually be a paramotor pilot, if you actually want to go on and start flying, if you actually want to confidently, safely go home and start flying on your own, that is not the place to go. If you go there, you're going to end up having to go to somebody else to finish the training, to get all fixed up, because it is not the place to go. Because it's just not complete. I don't want to talk about it too much. You just don't want to die? Look, let me tell you something. Dell is very good at selling the narrative that everything else is going to kill you, that everyone else is going to kill you, that if you touch anything but his 3 things, super training, flat top, and dominator, that you're going to die. That is so far from the case. This sport is a lot safer than Dell makes it seem to be. The equipment out there is a lot safer than Dell makes it seem to be. And the training out there, there's some really freaking good training schools that are far better than him. And it's just, he's very good at selling you on fear. You can't believe it. The fear that he's trying to sell you on, it's just not true. And look, now I've got a couple super students in the comments backing up exactly what I'm saying. Who does Dell keep from getting sued? Who does Dell keep from getting sued? I don't know what you're asking. The Kool-Aid is very sweet out there. Thanks, Andrew. Some of the old guys have lousy knees but still want to fly. Do you plan on creating a trike training course? I actually do think I will make a trike training course here soon. I will definitely try and incorporate trike training to the trainings that I have now, at least. Shane, yes, please do call me Shane, okay? Because if you come and spend 3-4 days with me, Shane, you're actually going to be able to go on and continue flying. You're actually going to be able to go and enjoy this sport. And one of the main reasons why I decided to step away is because I was watching all of these people with these big dreams come in, try to learn at super training, ultimately fail, go home and realize they know absolutely nothing. Their only hope is to return to super training, where for another 10 days they kite, very rarely fly, go home and again don't really know anything. I realized that that system, that structure, the way that things were being done there is just not creating students that actually can go on to succeed. Clint, you're in the comments section. Clint trained with me in October of 2022, not that long ago. Just last week, Clint and I went and flew up the mountain here. I didn't have to help him launch. I didn't have to help him land. I didn't have to help him with anything. A fully independent and successful pilot right out of training class. That's what a training should do. Create somebody who can go on and do their thing. And that's not what super training did. It just didn't work. Shane, you can attest to that, and I'm sure many others in the comment section can attest to that. It's a very, very fun 10 days, and it's a super fun place to be, and the people there are great, but it just doesn't produce pilots. It doesn't produce the quality of pilots. It doesn't actually make people that it doesn't produce pilots that can go on and fly. The superstars succeed, but we're talking like 5 out of 60 a year. Anyways, I'm not going to talk too much about super training. Let's see. Does anyone use Cardo for Bluetooth? I use Cardo for my motorcycle. I don't use it for paramotoring. I use a Cena 50S for paramotoring. I have my helmet. If you guys want me to, I can show you my helmet. Yes, I'm going to move on from talking about Dell at this moment in time. Let's see. How does he not get sued? Robert, I'm going to not answer your question. Can you tell us a quick about your roughest air experience during the Wingman? Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about the roughest air experience on the Wingman Challenge. There was this moment where Judson and I were 30 miles from the nearest town, and we hit sync so nasty that for like 30 seconds at full throttle, we descended like 500 to 800 feet, just full throttle sinking, just dropping like a rock. Mind you, we're 30 miles from the nearest road. There's a Verga cell right above us that decided it was time to dump, and we're just getting absolutely rocked. Judson decides to land on a dirt road 30 miles from the nearest town in the middle of Navajo land, and they do not like paramotor pilots, and you just don't go to Navajo land. We land there in the middle of nowhere, horrible skies, horrible conditions. That's when we during that flight, there was like 2 storm cells. We had to like snake around, and Miro and Jesse ended up over here, and we got separated from them. So we went this way, and then it was just like storm cell after storm cell, trying to avoid it. Nastiest conditions I've ever experienced. Active piloting more than I have ever active piloted before. Sync nastier than I've ever experienced before. Landed, hung out for like 20 minutes, relaxed, took off, and had the most peaceful, beautiful, and smooth flight ever. That was one of the worst experiences. And then also going into Monument Valley and coming out of Monument Valley, those 2 flights were the nastiest 2 flights on the entire Adventure Wingman. You talked about how safe it is to fly. Will you please do a video on how safe it is or not? There's so many opinions on how safe it is compared to other sports. I am actually trying to pull statistics. I did a live stream 2 live streams ago where I asked everybody their opinion on statistics. I think in the end we concluded that it was pretty freaking safe. It's very safe. And also the biggest component to paramotor safety and pilot safety is the pilot's judgment. And that is a thing that an instructor has influence on, whether you agree with that or not. Pilot judgment is a thing an instructor has influence on. If your instructor is influencing you negatively or encouraging bad behavior or any of those things, or doesn't straight up tell you when you're being a stupid pilot and doing dumb things, that could lead to you getting hurt. Like, your instructor has to take it very serious to let you know if you are doing stupid things and not to do those stupid things. And your instructor has to let you know how to make these better judgment calls and what good judgment calls are, and lead you down this mindset to be a safe paramotor pilot. They can lead you down one or the other. They can lead you down the like, you're invincible, you're never going to get hurt, you can do all the things, you can handle any conditions, you can handle any weather conditions. An instructor that's encouraging that is just leading to more people getting hurt. But an instructor that is more safety focused, conscious about how their students' mindset, how their students' mentality is influenced by what they say and what they do, that can lead to a safer pilot. Does that make sense to you guys? Because I've had to learn this stuff over a long period of time of teaching people and realizing that the influence that I have on this person is far greater than I thought it was. For some. For others, they're going to do whatever the heck they want to do, regardless of what you say. Like Andrew. Andrew does whatever the heck he wants to do. Anyways, back onto here. Then come to Boulder and give some local PPG community a hard time for scaring riders and horses. Super awesome student. Again, sarcasm. You know that, yeah. You talked about how safe it is. An instructor is... They have more influence than you think. Chris Santacroce made a video about this recently where he was talking about, maybe not flying when there's not a breeze, maybe waiting, taking it easy on your knees, all of these things. And there's definitely a good point to that. Like the influence you have on slowly shifting a mindset and how you view this thing and how you operate this thing is a big deal. To this point, to as safe as you make it, your decisions. I will say this sport, equipment wise, like you're not going to have equipment that just malfunctions on you, self-destructs, and you fall out of the sky. Like gear is a whole lot safer than we think it is. It is entirely up to the pilot. Your opinion on the Defiant paramotor? It's a very strong paramotor, it's a heavy paramotor, and it's not a paramotor that I have a whole lot of interest in. Sky Hiker, I am bummed that you had to cancel as well. Which flight do you prefer, sunrise or sunset? I love a sunset flight. My favorite flights are sunset over a snowy covered mountain while there's a little bit of cloud cover along the ground. There's one flight that I had last year that was that, and it was just the best ever. Biker Mike, I'm interested to hear that too. I fly a Gravity Defiant, love it. 5-gallon gas tank, adjustable swing arms for more or less way shift, awesome. But it's all I've flown. I think the Gravity Defiant is a good paramotor. I think for most pilots, it's gonna be everything that they want. I think it's a little bit on the heavy side. Like although 60 pounds doesn't sound like a lot more than 54 pounds, for most guys the difference is quite a bit. And that's damage and wear and tear that your knees are going to experience. That's damage, wear, and tear that you're going to feel. That's going to make you less inclined to want to launch on light wind days, and it's going to make you more nervous to land on light wind days. I just think that paramotor comfort and how it feels and the weight on your back is a lot bigger of a deal than people think. Because ultimately, it determines how much you fly, how much fun you have, how inclined you are to want to fly, and a heavy, uncomfortable paramotor, although the Gravity Defiant is not an uncomfortable paramotor, a heavier paramotor just leads to a little bit less flying. Especially, one of those big, bulky ones. Let's see, is that at all times or under training? Skyhiker, I think you were talking about training or the influence instructors have. They have that influence after training as well. That influence never stops. What is the physical demand on flying and learning how to fly a trike? Trikes are easy to fly, but you still have to learn the glider control, and that involves being on the ground, kiting with the harness on, all of those stuff. Use everything you can. I have a bad ankle 65, foot launch, no problem. There you go. Any thoughts on bladeless propulsion, new planes on YouTube with tech, and they're stupid quiet? Sure. JB, see you later. Dell flies in 20-mile-an-hour winds. Students like me go home thinking they got it. They end up nearly drug into a barbed wire fence near death. There's that influence that us instructors have that people don't necessarily think of. Like, an instructor's job is a lot more than just like, here's left and right, let's go flying. An instructor's job lasts it never ends. Let me tell you, I talk to almost on a regular basis pilots that have been flying since 2018, that I trained in 2018. The influence that I have over those pilots is still astonishing. Like, there's still so much influence in terms of like, hey man, you really shouldn't do that. Like, you have to stop doing that. And like, yeah, you can do that. And if an instructor does not have the balls to just walk up to you and just say you flat out absolutely should not do that, then I wouldn't trust them as an instructor. Because I have a student who flies extremely well. He's a younger guy. And he does a great job. But he hits me with these like, yeah, I want to fly this, or I want to try that, or I'm like wanting to do these things. And I'm like, no, dude, you have like 10 hours. No, don't do that. That's stupid. Like, stop. And you have to be honest. You want an instructor that is honest with you. You want someone who's influencing you that will tell you if you're being stupid and if you're doing something dumb. Let's see. What up, Michael? Trevor flies in 7-mile-an-hour over, much better role model. Well, like, I'll fly in high winds, Andrew, but it's about the mindset that you have to teach the person, the students, and there was this person on the paragliding talk show last night that was giving advice of the students are watching you. So what you do matters more than you think. As in, like, if I go and do stupid things, the students also think they can go do stupid things because I'm doing stupid things, so you can too. And although, I can tell you don't do the stupid things, you're still gonna want to go do the stupid things because you watched me go do the stupid things. And that one's the hardest for me. Like, an instructor really should fly in a way that their students should fly when they're near their students, not a way that they want to fly. And that one is the hardest one to do because I want to just go rip around and be my normal self. But if there's a student there, I need to seriously chill out because they're going to probably match my energy level and effort level and fly differently. So, like, I'll give an example for this. And then we've been talking about this for a minute. I flew with Clint, one of my local students, last week. When I flew with him, I flew very calm. Like, I did not yank, I did not crank, I did not spank, very gentle turns, very calm flying. It was very relaxed. I flew a couple days ago by myself doing the exact same thing, and I was ripping barrel rolls off of the side of the hill. The difference? I was alone, and I wasn't influencing someone who was going to maybe do something dumb that they shouldn't because they're watching me do that. That's the thing that an instructor has to learn over a long period of time. And if you just become one without someone else teaching you that, then I don't know how you're going to learn stuff like that. I have to tell you that, like, thank you to the amazing instructors out there that have taught me so much about being an instructor. Because the instructor that originally taught me you know, I picked up some bad things, and I would have never learned what I'm talking about now had it not been for other instructors who really preach on that kind of stuff. Let's see. Nitro is so much lighter. I've been ranting for way too long. Nitro 200, 45 pounds. I'm not a big fan of air conceptions. What up, Kevin? I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I like my gravity to 5, but it's the heaviest paramotor. It is a heavy paramotor. Also, I don't like that the gas tank is the core frame. That means if you have a hard butt landing and break it, you break the whole frame. The Nitro is so much lighter through the power, more linear. Hey, Kevin, want to go flying next week sometime? Hey, Mike, text me. I ordered a Limitless with a factory R. Factory freaking R. That Limitless is sweet. You should hit me up. I'll tell you a few. Randy, message me. I'm going to tell you a few adjustment points to try on your Limitless for better weight shift. I also have a Limitless with a Polini 303. That's hilarious. But what's considered stupid things just out of your experience level? That's a good question. I'm going to loop back to that, Michael. Foxy Trike. I'm of the opinion instructors should teach the safest way to fly, but say however you choose to fly. If you choose to deviate, you choose more risk. Well, 100% Sky Hiker. The only thing that I'm speaking from is I watched Dell's influence of, you could do anything, I'm this greatest thing ever, watch all this cool thing I can do, blah, 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 actually lead to people like Andrew going off and doing things that he had no business doing because Dell did. And even watched myself and my cousins go and do stupid things that we had no business doing because he did. Because that influence on us maybe built us up into this idea that we were so much greater than we should be, and then led down that path. By no means should your instructor not help you progress and fly the way that you would like to eventually fly, but it needs to be slightly more methodical than meets the eye. My instructor crashed in front of me doing wing overs 30 feet off the ground. I was worried about the money I paid him to train me. There you go. Your video influence, though. Yeah, Sky Hiker, you are correct on the video influence, and I actually realized that recently that I need to be a little bit more cautious in how I fly on video because it does encourage people to fly similarly. That one's kind of a weird toss-up in my head of I don't really know how to navigate that. I mean, I guess it comes down to flying more casually, but that's kind of how I like to fly. So I don't know on that one. I think you're right. Do you think that Chris C is correct that too many pilots are flying small wings? Absolutely. I think too many people progress too quickly. And that could be slightly at fault of instructors because even myself included, we want to help you progress to more fun wings because we know how much fun they are and we think that you need to be on that to have fun. And so we want you to progress faster than maybe you're ready for. And I recently have been taking a big step back of no, you probably shouldn't fly that wing and you should probably continue to fly a different wing because you should take more time. I'm a big advocate on people taking more time to get to these small wings. And also, as much as I try and be that positive influence, I am also part of the negative influence of being the guy that flies a small wing and a big motor and rips around really hard. So I play both sides. So I try and counteract the fact that as me being a young guy flying a small wing on a big motor is influencing other people to want to do that, I try and offset that with me also being a strong advocate of taking your time to progress. I really am a big advocate of take your time to progress. At 50 hours, that's when you maybe can start to get into more jiggy things. I tell people at my class, you should get bored. You should get to the point where you're kind of bored when you're new. And once you're bored and you've flown boringly for a little while, then maybe you're ready to do the fun things. But you need to take your time to get there. And Clint, absolutely. Tomorrow when we go fly, tomorrow you'll be filming me, so maybe it'll be a little different. But yes, I do take it serious that if I'm flying with students, I take it a lot more relaxingly. Why trikes can carry a full tank of fuel? Defy, not defiant. They are different. I apologize. I get them confused. I had an amazing PG instructor. I found an amazing group of people to fly with motors. That's good. Not everybody has an amazing experience. I'm glad you did, Kevin. Hi, Michael. In the MSF course gets you like a bike and riding, then there's advanced training for riding motorcycles. In a video you brought up, that's something that's needed. I do a lot of advanced training. Biker Mike, you should really reach out to me, and I would love to help you get into this sport. Beginner training, advanced training, all of it, whatever you want. I'm here to help. I'm here to help for free. I'm here to help paid. You know, if you pay me, obviously, you're going to get what you pay for. Whatever. I just want to help people as much as I can. That's why I offer the advanced training. It's a dedicated 4-day training class that you come to me. We work on anything that you would like to work on. Launches, landings, wing overs, energy management, mountain flying, cross-country flying, fly camping, whatever. That is a resource that pilots who are already in the sport can use to progress in a safe way if you don't have people around you that can help you. Andrew, I'm not going to worry about that. My weight shift, nitro, not much. Would you say buying bigger sizes of hotter wings makes them slower? Safer/slower? Makes them safer/... So that's a really interesting question. Let me read it to you guys. Would you say flying bigger sizes of hotter wings makes them safer/slower? Collapses? ? Let's dissect that. Number one, flying a bigger size, hotter wing is going to make it slower. That's for sure. Is it going to make it safer? Probably not. A hotter wing's a hotter wing one way or another. Now, the collapses on a lightly loaded wing hypothetically should be better. Like, it should recover better. A hot-loaded, highly loaded wing is going to be more resistant, but when it does collapse, it's going to be more aggressive. So in a hypothetical world, yes. In a real world, I don't know. Complacency is huge in learning and sport progression. Absolutely, absolutely. People get complacent way too quick, including myself. I see a lot of instructors who reach complacency. I see a lot of instructors who enter into intermediate syndrome, and I see a lot of instructors who have a feeling of invincibility. 3 things that can lead to you getting hurt. You have to ask yourself the hard questions. You have to self-analyze, and you have to ask other people their opinion on how you fly. One thing that I do that I recommend you do is I ask other instructors, if I'm with them, what they think. Like, what do you think of how I'm flying? Like, am I doing something dumb? Do you see something I don't see? Like, what's your opinion? I'm a firm believer that you can learn from everybody, and I try to do so by asking everybody questions. Skylar, how much did you shorten the brakes on your free ride too? I think I shortened them like 4 to 6 inches. I shortened the tip steer quite a bit too. Bring your free ride 2 to Salton Sea, Skylar. I can help you with that if you haven't already gotten it figured out. For the record, I love your flying style and can't wait to rip it up. I look forward to it, Sky Hiker Mike. You should go to Salton Sea or the Flying Circus or come out here to Utah. Either come during an advanced training and we can go fly, or come to an advanced training, or come any other time. Come fly with me if you would like to. Let's see. Come to Puerto Rico one day and fly with us. There's like 30. I would love to. Come to Florida and let's fly the Keys. Chucky, you know I want to do that. I'm thinking I might make a Florida trip at the end of February. We'll see. A lot of things, personal and business, have been tying me up time-wise. Love the Roadster 3 with tip steering tied in for XC. Have Dudek Warp 2. Now my favorite wing. Randy, I got myself, I don't know if you guys heard at the beginning of the live stream, but I bought myself a Dudek Warp 2 today. Dudek Warp 2 today. Brand new. I'm so excited. For my Warp 2. And I got it in the beautiful gray and black color. Okay? I'm so excited. I love my Warp 1. I have complaints about it. There's pros and there's cons, and I'll tell you about those in just a second. You can go on more paramotor flights if you don't die. I'm 215. Should I go with a 24 or 26? Shannon, what wing are you looking at? Thanks, Trevor. Got to go. Take care. See you later, Jeremy. We'll get it fixed in a hurry. Man, they ship those brakes so much extra length. Skylar, that's one of my biggest complaints about Ozone, is that they ship everything with long brakes. Yeah, come on out west, Sky Hiker Mike. Come on out. Yeah, of course, I'm always happy to answer questions. It's actually one of my favorite things to do. Somebody just told me Trevor was live, and why wasn't I on trolling him? I mean, come on, Steve, where you been? 25-meter Colorado wing, great for calm, bumpy. So the Dudek Warp 2 is the easiest warp to launch? Look, I can't answer that now, but I can tell you this. I have not struggled to launch my Warp 1. I don't struggle to launch my Warp 1. The only reason you will struggle to launch the Warp 1 is because you launch it trimmed way too far down. I launch my Warp 1 at trim setting 7, like all the way out, and I have not had a problem. Now, I will tell you this. The thing that I have experienced, and I will make a video about my Warp 1 next week, the thing that I have experienced with my Warp is that it doesn't like the ground. Like, it doesn't like all things ground. That's kiting, that's wind, that's launching, that's landing. It's not a ground wing. It is a flying wing, and it flies really well. I kited it once, and it did not like to kite. And one thing that I also do regularly on my Warp 1 is when I land, I stall it or spin it, getting into that flare. And that's something that just Dudeks do. Just Dudeks do. I look forward to see if the Warp 2 does the same thing, because the other day when I was landing my Warp 1, I ended up just stalling it behind me, and I was fine, but that's one thing that Dudeks do. And Skylar, you nailed it right on the head. I love the warp in the air. How it feels on launch is garbage. I would similarly agree, although I wouldn't say it's garbage. It is an amazing in-air wing. How it is on the ground is just not necessarily my favorite. I love Ozones on the ground. Ozones on the ground, so good. So good. So the Dudek Warp 2 is easiest launch. Warp 2, very stable wing, absolutely. Let's see. Why don't they make an A-wing with mustache type steering? DK Danis, do you mean the mustache riser system? And I'll tell you why the mustache has to be reflex. I can tell you why the mustache has to be reflex, if you want me to. Spider 3, Shannon, 215, Spider 3, either what, 24, 26? Is this your first wing, Shannon, or your second wing? Or third? What number on the wing scale is this? Best beginner setup for new pilot, wing motor harness helmet. Hey, Nicole. Let's see, best beginner setup for new pilot, wing motor harness. Now that one is tough, because I don't know you. How heavy are you? How tall are you? How old are you? Biker Mike, tell me those few things, and I'll have a bit of a better understanding on what to tell you. Warp 2 is easy to launch, so I have heard. They are very twitchy on the ground, trim set at 2 or 3. So, Randy, I have a question for you. Since you have some Warp 2 experience. Let's see. Seems like Dudeks just don't launch well. That's kind of what I've heard. Look, I've actually not had too much issue with launching my Warp 1 because I trim it out to 7. Most people launch, like the video of Tucker launching the Warp 1, I don't know if you guys know this, he's trying to launch it at trim setting all the way in, like 0. If you try and do that, it's the hardest wing to launch ever. It's not where you want to launch it. I launched it at trim setting 7. He later moved it up to like 3, which makes it better. But I don't understand why everybody launches with their trim settings so low, like down. Like launch trims out for farther. It makes the inflation easier, and it makes your brake range deeper. Randy, yeah, my question. Do you know, Randy, at what trim setting you shouldn't touch the brakes? Do you know at what trim setting you shouldn't touch the brakes? That's the question that I have. Because on the Warp, I've heard that after setting 9, you should not touch the brakes. Let's see. Yes, mustache risers. Okay. DK Danis, I will tell you why the flare mustache has to be reflex. It has to be reflex. And the reason is because reflex profiles are very, 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 very resistant to collapses. Traditional airfoils, fully accelerated, are very unstable, okay? Now, the thing with the riser setup on the mustache is that when your hands go all the way up, you fully accelerate it. So if you had a traditional airfoil wing, right, if it wasn't reflex, if the moustache wasn't reflex, you would take collapses all the time fully accelerated, because it's a unstable profile. It's a very unstable profile, and you're throwing your hands up, diving it at the ground, boom, full collapse. Or, you know, you fly right through your buddy's wake, fully accelerated, boom, collapse, spins you right into the ground. Like, a fully accelerated traditional airfoil is a very unstable wing, and you're just going to be doing that at ease. Like that, bam, and you're fully accelerated. It would be a very, very dangerous wing if it was a traditional airfoil. EN certified or not, ENA or D, it doesn't matter, because where it's going to be dangerous is fully accelerated. The reason why the moustache is reflex is because fully accelerated reflex wings get more stable. A fully accelerated reflex wing is extremely stable, right? And I think Dudek's the one that says it. Like, the most stable configuration is on full speed bar, like fully accelerated. The second is trimmed all the way down. Anywhere in between is not nearly as safe. So on the moustache, when you fully accelerate, you're actually on a stable wing. Now, I would not feel comfortable flying the moustache if it wasn't reflex, because I know that collapses would happen really easily, because you're just fully accelerating a traditional airfoil at the snap of your fingers. Does that make sense to you guys? Because I don't know if anybody's actually addressed that. Now, I will tell you this. Let me see. I'm a relatively new pilot, 20 hours. I fly a BDG Magic. Any recommendations on a B-wing? I would recommend, Jim, for you, a solo, Dudek solo, or a Spider 3. I'm a big fan of Spider 3s because they're super, super, super easy to fly. You could also do a universal, but I love the Spider 3. You could also do a Skyflux. There's quite a few options, and I can tell you all the pros and cons to all of them. But I'm still on the moustache. Final thoughts. The reflex profile is a must. It's a must. Because if you fully accelerated a traditional airfoil 3 feet off the ground in your buddy's wake, collapse, spin, smack. Collapse, spin, smack. Every time. There's probably a pretty good reason that it's not a traditional airfoil, that it is a reflex profile. They probably thought it through. And that's why it is the way it is. Like, I'll tell you this, DK Dennis. If you put the same riser system that's on the flare moustache on a Dominator, it would be very sketchy, because you would be taking collapses left and right. How do I know this? Because I, at Salton Sea last year in 2022, was flying trimmed out full speed bar all the time on a 4X Dominator, and I took some really nasty collapses. Several nearly really nasty collapses low to the ground, because a fully accelerated traditional airfoil becomes less stable. A fully accelerated reflex profile becomes more stable. Okay, now I've been flying my ITV AWOC 3. All right, you guys maybe have seen that. I posted a video recently of me flying my ITV AWOC 3. It is a comparable wing to the Freeride 2. All right. And then I'm going to make a video talking about which one I like more and why and all that stuff, but I'm not going to worry about that today. What I am going to tell you is that the one thing with the AWOC 3 is you don't want to speed it up. Because as you accelerate the AWOC 3 and any traditional airfoil, it becomes less stable. A collapse is more likely to happen, and it's going to be nastier when it does. The Freeride 2. When I accelerate the Freeride 2, it becomes more stable. Yes, as you press speed bar on a Freeride 2, it becomes more stable. So if I want to go fast, I would so rather have a Freeride 2 than an AWOC 3. Like, the AWOC 3 is absolutely a fun wing, trimmed all the way down. But the AWOC 3 is not very fun as soon as you start to trim it out, because it feels not stable at all. Unlike a Freeride 2. A Freeride 2, as you accelerate, becomes more stable. Now, I've been ranting on this for a minute. Let me loop back. Scott Martin, you asked me how my iris frame is. I'm going to loop to that in just a second. Dude doesn't like to give a number for some reason. Rank length trims, they make good wings. They make great wings, but I want to know at what trim setting I shouldn't touch brakes. And if nobody tells me, then I have to go figure out. You would take a lot of collapses flying no hands. Yeah, you don't want a traditional airfoil fully accelerated. People try to launch with trims in because they don't have super training and they don't understand wing. Wow, Andrew, you're on one tonight, aren't you? Mitch G said it would take a hurricane to collapse the warp. Well, it depends on what trim setting you have it at. If you fully accelerated a warp, you're probably right. I know. So the really nasty collapses, you guys remember the really nasty collapses that I had on the Adventure Wingman? Miro said that was the second nastiest conditions he's ever flown in. The first nastiest conditions, the worst conditions, he was on a warp and he did not take a collapse. Now, I took a collapse on a Viper 5 in those conditions. Let's see, third wing, a Roadster 3 tip steering, but I really enjoy the Spider 3. Shannon, reach out to me, and I'll let you know what I think on that. Hello. Thank you for the info. Have to run. Good night. First reserve, launch, warp 2, 5-7 wings, pulled up coming off of Colorado. Manual, that's right. Reflex becomes more stable. Warp 2 is light. Big uni, smaller solely. Prefer uni most of the time. Trims are awesome. There's a lot of questions. Now, my girlfriend walked in. I had to say hi. Sorry about that. I'm back. Let's see. Oh, iris frame. I want to talk about the iris frame. We asked Dudek what trim setting not to use brake, and they said check the manual. The manual doesn't say. Sounds like something Dudek would do. When you fly a reflex wing neutral or trimmed in, is it similar to flying a traditional wing as far as weight distribution on the riser lines? Evil Ken Evil. It is similar. For simplicity, I would say yes. Like, yeah, a trimmed in or even trimmed neutral reflex profile, that's how I refer to reflex wings, is very similar, if not almost identical, to a traditional airfoil. So, like, a reflex wing only becomes a reflex wing when you accelerate it. Otherwise, it's just a normal wing. It's just a normal wing until you fully accelerate it. Now, technically, there's always a little bit of reflex in it. There's technically always a little bit of reflex in the wing at all times. Let's see, my friend just flew the Freeride 2 and said it had a heavy brake pull. Yes, it does have a heavy brake pull. And yes, I wear out after about 20 minutes too. If you, in my review video, one of the two things that I said I didn't like about it was that it has a heavy brake pull. If you trim down on the Freeride 2, the brake pull gets lighter. So if your buddy is getting tired, just tell him to trim down, although it's not going to handle as well trimmed down. Interestingly enough, a wing becomes more agile and playful as you trim out. Let's see, Sirocco to Freeride. Absolutely, absolutely. I love the Sirocco. I love the Freeride. I'm very excited for my Warp 2. Bum ba bum bum bum. Let's see. Alrighty, let's see, inverted or foot drag. He tried that. He said he wore out after 20 minutes. He tried that. Here's what I'll tell you about the Freeride 2. All right, let me tell you what I think a little bit more honestly as I've gotten more experience on the Freeride 2. Because now I've been flying a Freeride 2, a Warp 1, and a AWOC 3. So a few more things in somewhat of the same category. The Freeride 2 is probably the most fun 20-minute flight ripping wing. Like, you go up, you want to rip around, you want to do barrel rolls, you want to do all of those things. I don't think anything compares. The amount of energy that it can carry through a turn, the amount of energy that it can carry in wing overs, I feel like is unmatched. The AWOC 3 does a good job, but when you put the Freeride 2 down and you hit brakes, it turns like just so hard. It flicks you so hard. The AWOC 3 does not do the same thing. But the Freeride 2 is not like a super great wing for just like all the time flying. Because Depending on you as the pilot, depending on what kind of flying. For me, the Freeride 2 is not a great everyday flying because my flying involves mountains. It involves rotor, it involves lift, it involves turbulence, it involves all of those things. And although the Freeride 2 does a fine job, it actually does a great job in bumps. It's work. You got to work. So I don't think that the Freeride 2 is the best all-day, everyday wing for me in this type of flying. At Salton Sea, the wing that you'll probably see me fly more than everything else is the Freeride 2 because it's so fun. It's such a good ripping around wing. I probably won't touch my AWOC 3 much at Salton Sea, although here in Utah, I touch it all the time because I go into the mountain and I soar and I come down and I do all those things. So see, 2 different worlds, 2 different situations, 2 different environments means 2 different wings. Now, the warp I use anytime I want to go on like a cross-country flight. And by cross-country, I mean that for 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour, I'm trying to cruise somewhere, then play, then cruise back. Because I think the Warp 1 and probably the Warp 2, I'll find out here soon, nothing cruises faster, more efficiently in a straight line. Like, they take the cake all the way on that kind of stuff. And that's what I use that for. So if I want to go for a longer flight that involves climbing a mountain or soaring down or whatever, I'm going to take the Warp. Because also, unlike the AWOC 3, I can accelerate a Dudek Warp and it becomes more stable versus an AWOC 3 where as I accelerate it, it becomes very unstable. That's kind of how that's the experience that I have had. Now, I think I couldn't live without a Freeride and I couldn't live without a Warp 2, I think, at this point. I think those are kind of my 2 wings that I'm really digging. I think the AWOC 3 is fun, and I'm totally enjoying it, but we'll see. Maybe I'll take it. Maybe I'll use it more than I think. I'm really enjoying it, and I will make a video talking about all of this here soon, a more final review of that AWOC 3, but I'm just not quite there yet. Reflex means the trailing edge of an airfoil is higher than the leading edge, moving the center of pressure forward. This makes a reflex wing extremely pitch stable and resistant to collapses. Yes. Warp 2, just think, turn, it does. Is the SEMA Power safest wing ever? Probably. It's a pretty safe wing, but there's maybe a safer wing. I don't know. It's a very safe wing. The difference between the safest and the second safest is probably not a lot. What are your thoughts on the Dudek Universal? I think the Dudek Universal is a very good beginner to intermediate wing. I was talking to someone about it today, and it's one of those wings that will grow with you for a long time. You will enjoy it for a lot of hours. That's what I think of the Universal. I think they're fun wings. Have you flown any APCO wings? Here's the thing with APCO wings, okay? And you can hate on me for saying this, but I just feel like APCO wings are cheap. I don't love APCO wings, and I could be totally wrong. And I could just have a bad opinion because I've had a bad experience. But I just feel like APCO wings are kind of cheaper wings. Like, they're not, like, my cup of tea. I haven't tried the F3. The F3. Yeah, I haven't tried any of the hot APCO wings in a long time, but I've just never been a big fan of APCO. That's kind of my thoughts. Open to it, but I'm just not at that spot where I'm a big fan of APCO. I will tell you, Kevin, spicy wings equal brake pressure, not brake pull. Lol. The AWOC 3's brake pressure is extremely soft. I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe Reflex, actually, I believe that the higher the pressure inside the wing, the harder the brake pull. Reflex profiles typically have higher pressure, and traditional airfoils have lower pressure. So a normal wing, right, like the AWOC 3, a traditional airfoil, the brake pull is so light, guys. It's so light, and it's so pop, touch, bam, whip around. It's fun, whereas the Freeride 2 is a little bit heavier of a brake pull. I think it's because it has a higher pressure inside, higher internal pressure. See you at Salton Sea. I look forward to it, Randy. I can't wait. I will have my Warp 2 there. We'll go for a flight. I'd like to try the AWOC 3. You're welcome to it, Kevin. I'm happy to let you guys try any of the wings that I have. I might let you try my Freeride 2, but it was the first wing I ever got custom made for me. And it's my Keller, and maybe I'll let you fly it. I did agree to let one guy fly it. That's it. One guy as of right now, maybe more. Salton Sea group posted there's a huge section of beach that's open for camping. I know the beach is open at Salton Sea, guys. If you were thinking of going to Salton Sea, the beach is open again, which is really awesome. I do have a campsite. A actual lot in the Johnson's Landing campsite that I will be staying at. So you're welcome to come by. I've got motors to try. I've got wings to try. Let's see. Warp 2, what size did I get? Again, I got an 18-meter Warp 2. That's about the size that I prefer here in Utah. If I was at lower altitude, I would fly a 16. Do you notice a difference in collapse resistance with altitude? No, I don't. Although, technically, as you go up, the air becomes thinner, which thinner air is maybe more likely to collapse than thicker air. I could maybe see a world where you could argue that Sky Hiker Mike, but I have never once even thought about that, and I don't know if there is really a difference. Does Dell make the Dominator in-house? I cannot answer that question, but the answer is probably no. Hey, I was wondering what made you set your training price at such an odd number, lol, 3147. Here's why, because you just asked me about it. That's why. Because if you set it at an odd number, it is more memorable. Why not set it at 3150, not 3147? Why not set it at 3100? Well, 3147 makes you think about it. Makes you remember it. That's why. It's a theory I have, okay? I'm big into marketing. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't. I'm a big marketer. I've done marketing. I did social media / digital marketing for several companies in the past, including, well, my own at this point. And so it's just one of those theories that I have where if you make a price unique, it's more memorable and you're remembered over other things. Maybe it's just a pipe dream. Mr. Wing Pants. Mr. Wing Pants? Mr. Wing Pants. I'm not really sure. Oh, Andrew. DK, no, he makes it in Russia. No, he does not make it in Russia. Dibs on W2 ride. Warp 2 ride. Skylar, can you even fly an 18? I don't think you can fly an 18, Skylar. But if you can somehow convince me that you're capable of flying an 18, then maybe. But only will I let you fly my 18, Skylar, if you let Caleb fly your free ride 2, I might let you fly my Warp 2. Okay, Skylar? That's the rules. That's the conditions. I'm going to fly Skylar's free ride 2. Sweet. You need 10 streams to make wings. Seamstress. Shower at your place. Skylar, I'm sorry. I don't think you would fit in my shower, okay? I do have a camper, but the shower's short and I barely fit in it. Disco party at Trevor's Landing. Hey, you know what? If you want to come have a disco party, Kevin, I'm there. All right. There'll be plenty of fun, consumable items for you to enjoy with me. Power is scary at Salton Sea. Power is good at Salton Sea. I look forward to seeing how high I can get on my wingovers at Salton Sea. Down in southern Utah, I was able to get really, really, really high. Already told the boys they could fly my free ride too. Oh, good, Skylar. Oh, good. I will tell you that Deanna, I think is how you say it, with Paradrenaline is going to be there with Dudek. What am I trying to say? Dudek demos. So there will be warp demos, I'm sure. There's a ton of psychology and marketing for sure. I thought it may be that it was closer average to what some of the wing costs and that you can build a great school. I will also tell you this, Michael. Part of the reason that price is $31.47 instead of $2,500, which was what it was last year, is because the team grew, and I want to make sure that I can support the others that help make all of this possible with an income that they can actually survive on. So, you know, there's the more expensive schools are expensive because there's more than one person doing it, and it's usually worth the price you pay. You pretty much get what you pay for in the paramotor training world. $1,200 training, beginner 10-day training or whatever, $2,000 training is $2,000 training. $3,000 training is $3,000 training. The only exception is super training. Let's see. Skylar can ride an 18. He will just fly at Mach 3. Okay, I will tell you this, Skylar. Skylar. You on a Warp 2 will probably break the sound barrier. I want you, Skylar, to try and set a speed record on the Warp 2 because Brad Roper set a speed of 54 miles an hour on a Warp 2. I don't know what size he was flying, but I want to see how fast he'll go on a Warp 2 to Skylar. That'll be hilarious. Also, Skylar, I'm excited to see you again. I haven't seen you since, what, 2021? 2020? Yeah, but I think Brad was flying on like a 20, Skylar. I think Brad was flying on a 20. Anyways, I haven't seen you in a little while, Skylar, because you weren't there last year, and I'm excited to see you again this year. What's the number one? Hang on, scroll back. There's a ton of psychology and marketing for sure. Yep, talked about that. Even my Nitro first time there launched me. I'm sure it did. What's the number one international location you would like to visit and fly? I would love to fly Thailand. I think flying Thailand would be a lot of fun. International location. I want to go to Saudi Arabia with Scout, okay? I'm a little bummed that I'm not going to Saudi with Scout. Thoughts on Dudek V King? I do not have an opinion because I don't know anything about it, Jason, so I can't tell you anything on that. Really cool, looking out for the entire team. No heard of much nowadays. Yeah, I mean, it's not a one-man show. I want to make sure everybody is surviving. In order to survive, you got to make a certain money, so you got to set things at a certain price. That's the reality of situations here. And that's with everything. I mean, that's part of the reason why Aviator is so expensive is because there's so many instructors there and they need to support those instructors. And you as the student benefit from all of those instructors, and it's worth the price to pay. And I'm looking out for my guys. That's what I'm doing. I want everybody to eat. Top 3 red flags that somebody is a dangerous pilot. Good question, DK Dennis. I think being responsible is a big thing. I think ego is probably one of the biggest things. Pilots with big egos can be really good, but also they can make poor judgment calls because they want to please their ego. And that one's really tough. Being responsible and saying no is probably a big thing. If you go out to the field to fly and it's not a good day to fly, you shouldn't fly regardless of the fact that you drove an hour to go fly. The other day I went out to fly. It was terrible weather. I decided to turn around and drive back. It took me 2 hours to go do the whole thing, and in the end I did not fly, and it really upset me. But you have to be able to just walk away. I don't know if I could answer those, but I could think of some other things. You fly the Warp 2, be very light on the brakes. Randy, why do you say that? Be very light on the brakes. Tell me a little bit more of what you mean. Light on the brakes on launch, light on the brakes in flight, light on the brakes trimmed all the way down. Are you saying light on the brakes because it's stall happy, spin happy, stalls easily? What do you tell me a little bit more there, okay? I want a little more information. Skylar, yeah, it's been years. Yeah, it has. F-16 with afterburners trying to keep up with Skylar will report him as a UFO. Yeah, it will. He will be freaking fast on an 18. We will have a crew this year. Salton is going to be epic. Salton is always epic, guys. I'm so excited. I'm 180 pounds and fly higher wings. All. No NP stall. No problem stall. Randy, I would actually like to talk to you a little bit more about that warp. You should reach out to me, and I want to ask you questions about it. You could tell a lot just how people do things, like lay out their wing, etc. It's just in how they make their it's decision making. Poor decision making in a pilot will lead to a pilot getting hurt. What is the best PPM/wing combo for large men? Most popular paramotorists are smaller, except for Gorilla. Powered paramotor wing combo for large men. I actually think the Limitless is a really good fit for larger guys. I think the Iris is also a good fit for larger guys. Larger guys just need a little bit more space in the harness, and the Limitless and Iris both have that space. Reach out to him. I'm sure you've heard of him. Nice. I'm going to Salton Sea fly-in. Good. Everybody's going to the fly-in. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to see. It's what we like to do. Sorry, guys. The girlfriend's trying to talk to me here. Telling her that I will go hang out with her in a half hour. How many of you guys are going to Salton Sea, and what motors/wings do you fly? Who's marketing right now? Are you talking about me? I'm marketing right now, Skylar. Skylar, I want you to know that I'm always marketing. Not marketing. I'm very confused on what you mean, Skylar. He may be able to set you up in Thailand. He has several paramotors. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see on my Thailand experiences. I think I would run into a certain somebody who wears turtlenecks. Power on landing, full brakes, no problem, but have short arms. I imagine that it stalls on landing. That's probably what's going to happen. How do you balance paramotoring and relationships? Any tips? Don't know, Sky Hiker Mike. I'm pretty bad at that. My life is 100% paramotor, and the relationships and personal life tend to get sacrificed. Actually, my life is 100%, not 100%, but it's pretty strongly business, which happens to include paramotoring, and that sacrifices a lot of personal life for that. And Michael, that was a funny comment. Only if you visit the brothels. Heck yeah, we are always marketing. Otherwise, people wouldn't take showers or shave. Exactly. Be safe out there. I wish I could go to Salton, but maybe someday. Good night. See you later. Have you ever flown a gravity paramotor? Have I flown a gravity paramotor? I'm not sure if I've flown a gravity paramotor. Oh no, Super D goes to Thailand. Is that who that girl is? Actually, it's the Philippines, if we're going to be exact here. He certainly has to rent that by the hour/minute. Hey, I'm going to not talk about that, guys. Speaking of other things, I'm going to peep the shirts again. They're available at backcountryppg.com. I'll even link it in the comments section right here, guys. I have them in stock here in Lehigh, Utah, ready to ship anytime. Was that a good sales pitch for you guys? Something to change the subject away from the other guy. Could a paramotor pilot fly hang glider? Sure, anybody can fly anything. You just have to learn how to do it. Hang glider and paramotor are very, very different. Hey, Thai Box TV. I will have those starting Wednesday. Starting Wednesday, I have an extra large. If you order an extra large, well, Thai Box, are you domestic or are you international? Like, do you live in the United States or do you live elsewhere? Tri-blend or all cotton shirts, shirt material matters. Absolutely. I'm not 100% sure at the moment. I've been working with somebody to find me high-quality shirts, and this is the nicest that I have found because I hate cheap shirts. I hate low-quality shirts. That's why it's taken me so long to get shirts. I actually have a whole box of them over here that I don't use. I've got like hundreds of dollars of shirts over there that I was testing that I think were a piece of crap, which is why I did not use any of them. And that's why I went with this one. And I'm sure I'll continue to find better ones and better ones. I try and find somebody who actually understands their craft to help me with everything. And so I found somebody who understands shirts. How do I get a sexy BC PPG shirt/sticker if you bring them to Salton for me? XL if so, please and thank you. Kevin, you can order it from the website or you can just text me in advance and I can bring it. Every shirt will come with a sticker. Let me see if I have them right here. Yep, every shirt comes with a sticker. Little baby sticker. Couple stickers. Just saying. He would misspell every word if he did sign language. Nice. Do you guys like these stickers? Should I sell stickers? See, stickers are hard because what am I going to charge? Like $2 for this? Shipping's going to be like $7, so it's not even worth it. But if you buy one of these, you get one of these. So there's my plug. Shameless plug. Absolutely shameless plug. Turtlenecks, I'll buy one. Hunter. We'll see, Hunter. I will all the shirts that I have. Let's see. What are your trim settings F2 during your loop swoop landings? Trims neutral is usually what I swoop at. I would swoop trims all the way out, but I have not practiced enough to do so to get the absolute max juice out of them. So I will slowly be working my way to, at Salton Sea, I will probably trim out for most of my swoop landings. You went to order, but, okay, look, I will have 2XLs starting on Wednesday, so let me add an XXL version real quick for you guys. I'm going to have, size, options, XXL, save. Boom, all right. A double XL is available now on the website. You should be able to place an order. If not, just order an extra large, and I will send you a message and make sure that you wanted an extra large. Let me see. Where we at? The neighbor and I are both going to Salton Sea. I have a mini plane with a Roadster 3 and a Parajet Maverick with a BDG Magic motor, but interested in a new wing. Clint, I will happily help you in the world of new wings. I am your local wing dealer. I think local wing dealer is kind of funny. Instead of, local other thing, I'm a local wing dealer. But yeah. I've got wings that I can help you out with, Clint. I think you need a little more practice, but your buddy might be ready for something else. I think he did a fine job on his magic, but he definitely needs something other than a magic. I remember watching him launch and feeling bad for him having to launch that. Hunter, everybody say Hunter come to Salton Sea. He's being lame and not coming with me to Salton Sea. Let's see, I'm bummed I missed this year. Last year was such a blast. Rockin' a Roaster 3. Looking forward to seeing photos and videos of the event. I am going to try and make videos of Salton Sea. Now, I want to ask you guys, what kind of videos do you want to see at Salton Sea? Do you want me to do something similar to what Judson did last year, where he kind of interviewed people and walked around and had a fun time with like everybody? Or do you want to see like vlogs of me going on longer flights, going up into the canyons with like the crew? Or like, what do you guys want to see content wise at Salton Sea? All right, I want to make some fun things for you. Okay, I'm gonna make some fun things. If Dell's there, interview him. Actually, if Dell attends, which I already know he's not going to for some reasons, but if he happened to, in some magical world, you absolutely would get an interview with him. I think him and I sitting down and talking would break the paramotor internet. It would be hilarious. It would be hilarious. Come on, who wouldn't want to see that? Listen, I'll tell you guys this. I wanted to go to Thanksgiving dinner with him. I tried really hard because I wanted to take a selfie with him at Thanksgiving dinner, and I never could. Come to find out, he didn't even do anything. Why don't paramotor beginners use motorcycle gear like knee pads, chest pads? Actually, one of the things I do recommend for beginner pilots is to wear knee pads. It's something small that is beneficial. Do my best Super Dell impression. Okay, I've never been good at it. I don't know if I'm drunk enough to try that one, guys. I'm sorry. If chilling with the boys video, all right. Okay, a little bit more behind the scenes. Please interview he who shall not be named. I think we've been naming him plenty of times. Though we don't crash like DK. We train not to crash, be in control. Kevin, sometimes crashes happen. But I do like knee pads. I think knee pads for new pilots is nice. It's just a small thing that can pay off. However, I will say this. DK Dennis, let me go back on that statement of knee pads, all right? I recommend you bring them, but I force you to stop using them. The reason why is because when you wear knee pads, your brain is like, oh, I'm just going to go to my knee pads. I'll just go to my knees. I'll just drop to my knees. So all of a sudden you stop landing on your feet. You don't learn to land on your feet. You almost need to be forced to land on your feet. By not having knee pads, it almost forces you because you don't have that backup to fall onto your knee pads. That is something I did learn as I had some students that just kept falling on their knees. And I go, why don't you take those off and let's try it again? And wouldn't you know, they landed just fine on their feet. It's beneficial once you learn to land on your feet. All of the above, you're doing interviews would be very entertaining though. I think it would be entertaining to do like live videos with some fun people or sit down talks. I've seen knee pads become a crutch. Exactly what I just said, Skylar. You nailed it on the dot. I just want to see all of the Salton Sea for those who cannot make it there. I will try and film all things Salton Sea, flying, crashes, carnage, fun stuff, all the things. I just hold up a hand with a missing finger and make a weird face. That should be an easy impression. Look, I was going to do like a booyah thing because that's kind of his thing, but like I just can't quite get myself to do it. I'm professional at not landing on my feet. Clint, give yourself no other option but to land on your feet. What is your fuel burn limitless with factory R XC on your Warp 1? Here's the thing, Randy. I don't have a factory R, and I don't know on a Warp 1, but I was averaging on my Viper 5 on the Adventure Wingman 5 to 7 liters, and I was tuned way too rich. Cross country around the lake, sunset shenanigans, mountain canyon carving, walking around interviewing other pilots, asking them about gear, live streams. That's what I like. Scott, you are the reason I asked that question, so that I actually get an answer. Thank you, Scott. That is awesome. I appreciate you actually answering my question. That is what I shall do. XXL shirt ordered. I'll do a review video. Amazing. I just ordered the 2X. Glad to support. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody in their support. I'll be filming a lot at Salton Sea as well. Clint, I think you and I should work together to film videos at Salton Sea. You down? You down, Clint? I know you know how to film. I want to film. We work together just like we're working together tomorrow. We film some bomb Salton Sea content. I could totally use somebody that could hold the camera and point it at me. Boom, Clint, we're going to film some fun videos. Guys, we're going to have bomb videos of Salton Sea this year. All right, I'm just throwing that out there. Throwing that out there. I'll be live on Facebook several times while at Salton Sea. Kevin, funny enough, I watched Judson's video last year where he was walking around and you were doing the whole Facebook Live thing and then impersonating a Facebook Live like girl or whatever you did. I just thought it was hilarious. Hilarious. Second for X country and vlog with fly camping. I do plan to go fly camping at Salton Sea, guys. I do plan to fly camp Salton Sea. Let me know if you're going to be there and would like to join me. I hear the factory are getting a lot better around 4.5 an hour. I just realized I'm talking really, really, really fast. That happens regularly, by the way. I need to calm down, but big, deep breaths. 4.5 an hour for a factory R. I have heard as low as like 3.8 for a factory R on like a super efficient wing. I think my warp 2 on a normal Moster will get like 4. It'll be easy. What date are you going fly camping at Salton Sea? Para Ninja. I'm not 100% sure yet on what date, but I am thinking maybe like the Thursday night or a Friday night. Maybe a Friday night because, well, actually, I don't know yet because I want to be in the crowd when everybody's there. Friday and Saturday night are the busiest nights. So not those 2 nights because I want to be where everybody else is. With your marketing skills, when you're going to do a training giveaway, that would really boost dollars for your school. Training giveaways work when you're on a much larger scale like Tucker. I don't think it would actually be cost effective for me. And I'm just not, I don't know. I feel like giveaways are like so saturated at this point. Like everybody and their brother does a giveaway. Nobody actually takes giveaways serious. If I see a giveaway, I couldn't care less. I roll my eyes. We need to take a cheeky trip down to Glamis. All right. And since you brought it up, I should get a $3,000 discount and pay just $147. Hey, Michael, I'm not a big fan of giveaways. I don't think there's a whole lot of value to giveaways. I could be wrong. I mean, there's probably a reason Tucker and Aviator keep doing it, but I'm not, I am not keen on it. Have you found a good way to carry an extra prop while fly camping? Yeah, the best way to carry an extra prop while fly camping is to just not break one. That's the best way. But it does cross my mind. And I think the best way to... I don't give free cab rides either. I think the best way to bring an extra prop is to strap it to your skids on the bottom. It just means that if you sit down, well, actually, it's probably not the best way, because if you strap it on the skids on the bottom and you sit down and you break your prop, chances are you're probably going to break your spare prop too. So ideally, it sits on your lap. These Scout Adventure bags are probably the best for that. You need 1 million subs to make the giveaway work? Well, okay, let's talk numbers here, because this is a business. You'll break those too. Like if we're going to do a giveaway, the idea of the giveaway is that you make more money selling the thing that they have to buy to get the giveaway than the thing that you're giving away costs, right? So I would have to sell enough shirts to make $3,147 to make a giveaway worth it, which at $30, right, divided by 30, that is 104 shirts. It means I have to sell 104 shirts to make that worth it. Do I think I can sell 104 shirts? I don't know. I might be able to sell 20. But if I sell 20 shirts, and that's, by the way, not even profit, right? That's full cost. That's $30 of profit a shirt when that's not even real. You're not going to get $30. You might get $12 per shirt times 104 shirts. That's only $1,200. You got to triple that. You got to get 300 people to buy shirts, right? You got to sell 300 shirts. It's just not realistic in my world to make enough money doing a giveaway to actually make it worth it. When you're Tucker Gott and you've got 50,000 people that watch and you maybe sell 500 shirts, then it works. It's a write-off, it's deductible. There is attention that you get from it. You're going to get attention, but how much attention? Like, do we really pay attention to giveaways anymore? Like, when was the last time somebody doing a giveaway actually caught your attention? I don't know. Perhaps extra prop like knee pads, a crutch. You're probably right. You're probably right. If you bring an extra prop, you're going to be okay falling because you have an extra prop. It's also a marketing expense, and I've heard you're all about that. Marketing expense? All about that. I don't know. It's a write-off deductible. Good point about the prop being a crutch. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. When Tucker does it, it kind of feels like a joke, right? It doesn't really seem like I don't get excited about a giveaway. Like, oh, it's a giveaway. Oh, yeah, it's a giveaway, man. I'm so excited. I know it sells shirts. It works because everybody has a slim chance that maybe they'll win. But I just feel like they're so oversaturated in today's world. Like nobody really does. Nobody gets really excited about a giveaway. I don't get excited about a giveaway. Maybe you do if like you can't afford the training and you just really want it. I don't know. I've never seen, I guess I have seen it work because there's plenty of companies that give away motorcycles and stuff like that. Like there's a company that gives away like a motorcycle every month, and all you got to do is buy certain things to make it worth it. Let's see. He's also getting free, so giving away free is kind of easy. I mean, what is he getting for free, Kevin? Because I will say Tucker buys all of his wings. Nobody gives Tucker wings for free. I don't think anybody gives motors to Tucker for free. Like Tucker does buy Tucker's things. I won my motorcycle. There you go. So see, it does sometimes work. Shirts are cool because anytime I wear my paramotor clothing, others around me in public mention it. I am trying to make some really cool paramotor shirts. I had a couple people working on designs, and none of the people that I hired to make the designs made them like I thought. So I've been working with them and kind of trying to find a good solution, and I just haven't gotten any good shirt designs done yet. Because maybe I'm going way too extreme. I don't know. It's not my specialty. I'm not super good at that. And if I could sit down with someone or had good graphic design skills, I could probably do it. But I do design too. Clint, my man, where you at? Where you at, Clint? Come on, let's make some shirts. You live 15 minutes from me. We can make some cool shirts. You're actually that direction. I could probably see your house from here, Clint. I think you and I are going to have a lot of fun hanging out. And also, I got to say, Clint, you got like the coolest house, okay? You're going to have to help me out here with some shirts. And I'm just going to say one more time, they got like the coolest house. I bragged about it for like 30 minutes on the phone or 30 minutes in the car after I left your house with my girlfriend about how cool of a house you have. And we figured that your house was the cool house that everybody wanted to go to. Does Dell argue with people in person? Sure. He's not very good at it. He's kind of a coward, but if you try, yeah, you can get it. Yeah, he is sponsored out of the yin yang. He kind of badmouthed Scouts the other day in one of his videos. Did that fall apart? He's not necessarily sponsored. I would say he's partnered. There's a difference. Partnered. But we don't need to get into the exact specifics of all of the behind-the-scenes business stuff. It's unnecessary. Tucker makes fun videos. He flies cool things. If you want to buy the things, then go for it. He got 2 Scouts for free and a factory R free. I'm sure he did. At times. I'm sure he's gotten plenty of free things. Let me tell you this, okay? As a business owner in this industry, I would absolutely give Tucker all the things for free to make videos about me. Why wouldn't you? It would bring all the attention. So absolutely Tucker should get these things for free, and absolutely Tucker should get plenty of money on top of it because he's making other people plenty of money. It is all about value. He's providing the value, and he deserves compensation for value. So there's no reason anybody should be upset or dislike the fact that he gets money for certain things. Absolutely encourage it. He's providing value to us by providing entertaining content. And as a result, he also is promoting this other thing that is providing value. And if you pay money to that, he should get compensation for that. And he does. And I'm happy that he makes good money. And I hope he makes all the money in the world. Let's see. Have you ever flown tandem? Absolutely. I've done a lot of tandems. I've probably done hundreds of tandems. Tandem for Kisses, it's on YouTube. So did Dell get charged with that guy's desk when he fell? I'm going to be honest with you, Michael. That's not necessarily Dell's fault. Like, I know that's going to be somewhat controversial to say. The guy didn't fall off. The skydiver that died in Corpus Christi, Texas, where Dell happened to be the pilot, in no way, shape, or form is at fault of the pilot. I'm just saying, in no way, shape, or form at fault of the pilot. And it's not 50-50 either. It's not 50-50 either. The only reason why I would blame Dell is if Dell influenced or peer pressured the guy to do it, which I know from speaking to the people there that he did not. The guy actually spent all day trying to convince Dell to do it, okay? It's not Dell's fault that the guy's parachute happened to not work in the way that it was supposed to work. Yeah, the cord that comes out wrapped around his foot, parachute came out wrapped around his foot. How is that the pilot's fault? It could have been any other pilot. It just happens to be Dell, right? It happens to be Dell. And when Dell's involved, everything gets blamed on Dell. And by no means am I encouraged to defend Dell in any way, shape, or form. Couldn't care less. Because he talks so much crap on me. But I just want to be honest. That's what I have to say about that. That's where 1 million subs comes in. Views and advertising. Here and it. Absolutely. Tell me how in-depth you look at weather before you go out. What apps to use. I use a couple different things, Warren. Number 1, I use Windy, and I don't really trust it. Number 2, I use the weather on Google. And number 3, I look out the window. And I've gotten to the point here in Utah where I'm pretty good. At looking outside at the clouds in the sky and knowing whether it's going to be a good day or not. Also, the airport that I fly at regularly has a weather station at it where I can just look to see what the weather is. If it looks good, I go. Very rarely do I go when it's not good, and very rarely do I not go when it's good. Let's see. Is there a weight limit for tandem? Well, hypothetically, a motor I would say it's around 300 pounds, but it depends on the motor and wing size that you have, Mark. I didn't like to foot launch people over like 180, 200 pounds at the beach. I would really prefer to foot launch somebody at like 110 pounds because those people were really, really easy to foot launch. But I did take a 300 and some pound guy once, and it was a long run to get into this guy. And we did not have any climb rate. Okay, that's cool. Just wanting to inquire. Absolutely. Love the pictures on your wall. Thank you. At some point, I'm going to put a nail. I'm going to finish putting that nail on the wall. I just have to tell the neighbor because I have more of them. Do you guys want to see the other few pictures that my girlfriend got me? Because they're pretty cool too. I guess I could turn the camera around, but then you'd see all my lighting. Skydiving, base jumping is inherently dangerous. Absolutely. The side of truth, not the person. 100%, Kevin. Don't care what I don't care who's involved. I just care about the truth. Am I shadow banned? Someone let me know. Andrew, no, you are not. You outclassed Dell by a long shot. I appreciate that. Some trainers would put an African elephant in a harness and send them skyward. Yes, do it. Show it. Would you say you are a heavier paramotor pilot? No, I'm on the very light side. People like behind the scenes. Okay, all right. I will show you the other few photos. Let's see. I got some cute relationship photos, and I got these photos here. Yeah, I got a good-looking Scout. I've got Miro and a storm cloud, and I've got Miro gassing up. And all of these photos were handpicked for a good reason because every single one reminds me of a certain memory and a certain moment in time. And I love every single one because, like, this picture right here, it's Miros, like, looking at this cool plane that stopped by while we were getting gas. And, like, this whole morning, this whole day, looking at this picture reminds me of it. And, like, this airport that we stopped at to get gas. The reason that's such a cool picture to me is because I hadn't shaved in 8 days. And my beard right here, where I shave every day, was really scratchy. And my helmet was like really getting annoying and hurting my neck. Like, it was really irritated. I was getting to the point where every gas station we stopped at, everywhere we stopped at, I tried to buy a razor. Well, we get to this airport, okay? And in the pilot's lounge, which is basically half of a house, is all the shaving stuff, shampoo, Everything you could need is in this pilot's lounge. As soon as I see that, my whole head hits the sink. I'm just in the sink, getting everything soaking wet and shaving. I was the happiest man alive, all right? It was the greatest moment on the whole adventure Wingman was shaving. I know, hilarious. But that picture reminds me of it. And then we launched out of this airport and proceeded to have one of the scariest, most difficult flights of the entire adventure Wingman, right? Then we can look at this picture. This happened right before we flew into Monument Valley. The flight into Monument Valley was actually very terrifying because there was nothing, and it was slightly bumpy. And although I didn't mind the bumps and didn't fear the bumps and knew I had a reserve and whatever, there was nothing there. And what's scary about turbulence is not the turbulence, it's the fact that, like, there's no out. There's no out. Like, I knew I'm going to be in this turbulence for hours. For like an hour. I'm going to sit in this nasty turbulence for an hour. And that's just like an hour of pure fear and not fun. And so that photo brings me back to that. And also we sat at this airport with a very strange airport manager dude. And I tried to make oatmeal and it blew up in the microwave because apparently I don't know how to make oatmeal. And I drank a Pepsi and I'm a Coke guy. And I just remember all of that. And I climbed on this thing right here too with Judson. And we played like jungle gyms on that, which was fun. And then, like, you know, this picture is super cool because this is, like, all the people. Like, you've got Miro, you've got Judson, and you've got Ryan Southwell, and you've got, like, the whole Team Flight crew, and then you've got me, and, you know, you go down the list, like, right? I love these pictures. I love these pictures. I'm in the one behind you. You are? Which one? Right here? I'm sorry. MHB Jeep. What's your name? What's your name? I will point out where you are because I probably remember. Very light. How much do you weigh? I'm 180 pounds. Depends on the wing more than motor. Absolutely. Tell us more about your streaming setup. It's just my phone and 2 lights. Small wing, small motor, bad climb. Small wing, big motor, decent climb. Big wing, big motor, big climb. Absolutely. Double edge safety razor. I don't even remember, dude. I don't even remember. Mark. Mark. What up, Mark? Where's the picture of your classes? I don't have any pictures of the classes. Let's see if I remember where you are, Mark. You remember where you are. I think this is you. I'm pretty sure that's you, Mark. I could be totally wrong. Is that you, Mark? Right there? No, right there. Pretty sure. Not 100% sure anymore. But then we got other pictures which are super cool. Like the fly camping picture. Love the fly camping picture. That's the only time that I felt like I was truly fly camping. Thanks for all the time answering questions. Stuff like this is the great free PPG community. Absolutely, Warren. See you later. Second from the left. That is you, Mark. I knew it was you. I knew it was you. I like it. I like it. Yeah, this is a good picture. It's a good picture. So I don't know what you thought, Mark, but when we took this picture, if you remember, it took like several minutes for Chuck to get the camera set up. We had not worn any of the heavy paramotor stuff yet. And it felt so freaking heavy. I remember getting to a point where I was like, I don't know if I can keep standing. And the funny thing is like 2 minutes of standing with that gear at the beginning was like brutal. But at the end, like walked for like, at one point Judson and I walked like almost a mile with all this stuff on. And like I walked the mile, turned around, walked back half a mile, got Judson's stuff, and walked it for him. And I just like, I don't know, I got used to the weight. Was it the same thing for you, Mark, or was the weight awful the whole time? Because I got very used to the 115-pound paramotor. Although I will say the Scout was probably less comfortable to walk around with. Because didn't you have a Scout? Yeah, you were flying a Scout demo. I was not. I was one of the only non-Scout pilots on the whole thing. Yeah, I was like, what, he hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 non-Scout pilots out of 18 pilots? Come on, man. Come on, man. Good times. Leg weak. Yeah, dude, I got freaking, my legs were beefy. Yes, very heavy after burning in the motor. Poor Judson weighs like a wet... Funny thing is, like, Judson was only like 15 pounds heavier than his paramotor. But he was a beast, dude. Judson freaking... He worked his butt off that entire Adventure Wingman trip. And he made that 120-pound paramotor look light. He did a great job with that. The Scout, I don't think, is a heavy beast. I think it is just poorly placed on your back. It is one of the more difficult to launch paramotors. And I think, and I told Miro this, I spend a lot of time talking to Miro. So Miro was part of our group. I asked Miro every question I could. I wanted his opinion on everything. I wanted to just soak up every minute I had. And I told him, if the Scout launched like a Parajet, it'd probably be one of the greatest paramotors ever. Like the greatest paramotor ever. Like if a Scout launched like a Parajet and felt like a Parajet, it'd be freaking amazing. I'd have one of them. But they're just hard to launch. By far one of my favorite people to watch. He comes across extremely genuine. Yeah, Judson's great. I lent him my ski jacket, the bright orange jacket, and my pants for the trip. Thank goodness I brought extra clothes because he did not have enough stuff, and I lent him all my stuff. My ski clothes, so he could be warm. But I couldn't ask for a better wingman on the trip. And also, I don't know if I ever showed you guys this, but I won a special award on the Adventure Wingman for Best Wingman, and this is the award. See? That's a big award. That was the 4 people, I think it was. Mark, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think 4 or 5 people won special awards. I don't remember what they were anymore. But I do know I won for Best Wingman, and this is the trophy that I got. And see, I think everybody, and again, Mark, you could correct me if I'm wrong, I think everybody got this trophy, though. This is what I think most people got. Like a little baby, and not as little. I got the big boy. I got the big boy. And that is because, and I don't want to speak for Judson on why I got that, but he didn't ever make the video on it. He did talk about it on the Team Fly podcast, but the first morning when Judson fell, the other 2 guys fell. Jesse took the entire tarmac to get off the ground. It was the longest to take that morning. That morning, although I took nasty, nasty collapses, I'm glad I got up and out. I got out of there. And I'm so glad I did because it meant that I didn't have to have any Team Fly Halo help the whole time. And I was one of the few guys that didn't need any help, didn't take any rides, didn't need any of that stuff from Team Fly Halo. I didn't break any gear. I didn't blow any launches. I didn't fall on any landings. And I didn't need any Team Fly Halo help, which was really, really nice. Like, I did the whole thing without any help. And I was really, really proud of that. As I don't know, I think only Miro and I did that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure only Miro and I did that. Would you still assist those of us who have flat tops? If so, how much? Like reading weather and maintenance? If you are a flat top pilot, I will absolutely help you. I will help you in every way, shape, and form. I actually give flat top pilots a discount on my training because I feel I owe it to them. So if you're a flat top guy and you want to come through a full 10-day class, I give a discount. If you want to come through an advanced training, I don't give a discount for that, but I am here to answer every question, help in every way, including flat top specific questions, Dominator specific questions. I'm here to help, guys. I understand that you might not want to talk to the other guy. I am happy to offer all that I know. I might not know the answer, but I'm going to try everything that I can. A brother is a brother in the sky. You get $147. This guy. But I will tell you, do you guys want to know why I created the advanced training? I'll tell you the story behind the advanced training and why it became a thing. And Michael, I like you. I like that you make these jokes. But if you want, I'll tell you the story behind the advanced training, and then I really should go because I've been talking for 2 hours, and if you haven't noticed, I really have to pee. You probably haven't noticed, but I've had to go to the bathroom for like 40 minutes now. And that's probably why I'm talking so fast. I just talk like a maniac. I'm very happy. Hey, Mark, if you're still in the video, did you get one of these, Mark? I'm not sure if you got one of those. Good training is worth double that, honestly. Are you talking about beginner training or advanced training? Because I think the advanced training is totally underrated. And I don't think enough people realize how much they would actually benefit from the advanced training. Because what the advanced training is supposed to be is what most people are lacking. And that is somebody to help you progress safely. And like somebody to call out your mistakes and tweak your mistakes, and a way for you to, in a safe environment, learn the skills that maybe you want to learn. That's what the advanced training is for. I wanted it to be this place where, like, I thought about me, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. I think about me in the paragliding world, And it's like, for paragliding, there isn't like a advanced paragliding training where like I can go and spend 4 days with like a certain instructor and just soak up everything and ask all the questions. And see, that's what the advanced training is. That you can come and ask all the questions and soak up all the knowledge and get everything that you want, as much as you can, from myself and the other instructors. Like, that's the advanced training. You can get access to these other pilots and get all the help that you can. Yes, you can probably do that for free, right? People ask, like, why do you charge for advanced training? Yeah, you can come and fly with me for free, no problem. But when you pay me to dedicate all my time to you for 4 days, you're going to get more than if you just came and spent 4 days with me, right? If you pay for something, you're going to get more. That's why you pay for me to dedicate all my energy and attention to you for 4 days straight. And I do that. And I'm going to help you with your wing overs. I'm going to help you with your launches. I'm going to help you with your landings. I'm going to help you build confidence. I'm going to wear you out. I'm going to push your limits. I'm going to test your limits. We're going to fly to the mountains. You're going to fly in conditions you never would have flown in before. And I'm going to show you what you're capable of and help you progress. That's what the advanced training is. That's why it's there, because it's something that I would have appreciated. And I got it because I was with Dell. I always had Dell with me, okay? And because of that, Dell never let me not do something right. Like, hey, you should tweak that. Hey, you should tweak that. Hey, you should stop that. Hey, try this. Hey, try that. And because of that, I got good. I'm not saying I'm the best at anything, but I got good because he wouldn't let me do things wrong. And that's also part of the reason why I created the advanced training, was to offer that to people. I got the big one too, I think, is the He Didn't Quit award. Feels a little wrong to have received an award for that, honestly. I don't know, Mark. You pushed through a lot of stuff, man. I mean, you pushed through a lot of stuff. You worked hard for that. You tried very hard. You had a lot of crap that you had to deal with. If I recall correctly, you at one point crashed and still continued on, despite probably not wanting to continue on. Let's see. Prostitution is one of the oldest perspectives. Yeah, absolutely, Skylar. It is the most pure form of capitalism. I'm thankful you created the advanced training. It helped me break bad habits I was creating. Yeah, there it is. Because, I mean, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. When you leave beginner training, like, you barely learned anything. Like, things just get started. There's a whole nother world of things to learn. A whole nother world. And if you're lucky enough to live near your instructor, then you can continue to learn those things. But if you're not, then you're going to go home and you're going to start to develop these bad habits. And you're going to start to do these things you shouldn't do. And things maybe will be more difficult than they were before. And all these things are going to start to happen that unless you have somebody there to help you, it's going to become difficult. That's where the advanced training is for. Really enjoy the chat. I sent some information on Facebook Messenger. Good night. All right, good night. I have to say I have a fresh breeze. Why does that sound like a flavor smell of a... I'm not going to say that. It's literally 13 minutes on it over the last 7 years. I need to say more. He abandoned me. Come to the advanced training. Come on out. Come spend some time out west. I saw Trevor do some amazing things. We were at Kingston Ranch and waiting for the wind to die down. Trevor was out ripping around and playing when the rest of us were like, no way. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed. I appreciate that, Mark. I had a lot of fun that day. You know what's funny, Mark? So I spent like an hour saying no to going up. I'll tell you a couple stories, right? So I spent like an hour saying no to going up because it felt like I wanted to go up in those weather conditions for ego. Like, that's the situation, okay? So we're at Kingston Ranch. It's our second checkpoint on the Adventure Wingman trip. We have this big wind. We're pretty sure up high is light wind, and we're good to go. But nobody wants to fly in the heavy wind. And, you know, like, Judson keeps looking over at me like, you could go rip around. And, like, I'm used to high wind. It just felt very egotistical to go fly in those conditions. It felt like if I was going to go fly, it was going to be me going up to brag about how great I am, brag about how good I fly, and all those things. And I don't think you should fly for ego. Like, I just think that if you fly for ego, or if ego is the driving factor for flying, it can lead to you doing really stupid things. So I didn't. I sat there with everybody else and watched, knowing very well I'd have no problem flying in those weather conditions, but knowing I shouldn't fly in those weather conditions. And then after I watched several other people do it, and it no longer felt like the ego trip, then I had no problems going. After it no longer was like the, oh, I'm going to do this to show that I can do it and nobody else can do it, then I totally win. And it was fun. And I appreciate that. And let's see. Was it a difficult decision to leave flat top? How long were you considering it before going solo? That's a whole story in itself, Andrew. It was really hard, Andrew. That was a really, really hard thing to do. Like, leaving flat top was extremely difficult. In a way, leaving flat top was kind of giving up on this thing that I felt like I helped build. In a way, leaving flat top was like a really big risk, because I'm leaving a decently well-paying job that's fairly stable and no risk to me to go do something that's very risky, might not work. And in the other way, it was kind of felt like turning your back to someone who's given you a lot. But at a certain point, and I tried to fight it off for a long time. Like, I didn't want to necessarily leave, because I didn't want what I was thinking to be true. So I kept just denying it in my brain. And finally, at a certain point, I just realized that I could not morally continue to do the thing that I'm doing. I couldn't do it. I didn't believe in the products. I didn't believe in the service. I could no longer justify in my mind defending somebody who, who I just didn't think was right anymore. I just felt like was in the wrong. I don't know. It just reached a point where it was like I had no option. Like, I finally reached a point come May where I just like had no option of, like, I had to leave. I had to do something. Whether it was paramotor related or not, I had to go. And so I went to Aviator PPG in Florida in May, and I talked with him, and I asked a bunch of questions, and, you know, I asked quite a few people their opinion on stuff, and then finally decided to take the leap and go for it. But it was a long thing, because it was difficult. It was difficult. I didn't know what to do. Like, as much as I knew about flying, right, I didn't know anything about the whole other side of this world of flying. Like, I knew everything about this side, but I didn't know anything about this side. So I had to learn. That's my little story. And I'll probably talk about it in more extensive detail at some point. Anybody fly today? Hunter got in a quick freezing flight, living vicariously through him. Brian, you guys should come to Salton Sea. I tried to tell him, but you should come to Salton Sea, even if you can't fly. Mark, I really appreciate you saying that. Anybody who's getting into the sport would be lucky to train from Trevor. No, he's not paying me to say this. He's good. Thank you, Mark. I will buy you beer next time I see you, if you would like it. I live in Jackson, Florida. Florida is nice and warm. Florida is nice and warm. Got 2 short flights in tonight. West Tennessee. Good. Let the dude take a leak. I'm fine. How much are lessons? Beginner lessons are $31.47. Advanced training is $1,200. Wow, you were afraid of being humble. No, I was afraid of hurting myself. I was afraid of my ego deciding it was time to do something. My ego trying to flare. Like, I definitely have an ego at times, and I try very hard to not let it speak for me or decide to do things for me. That's what I was doing. I was trying to let it not be the deciding factor and not lead to me hurting myself. We need to take risks to grow, follow your heart. Not an open wound, but to Del quit. Ducks spit, PPG. What do you mean quit? That's why I quit being a Mormon. Nice. I didn't know you were ever Mormon, Andrew. What was it that you did not want to believe was true? If you feel comfortable with disclosure. Well, I didn't want to feel like my, what am I trying to say? See, I had started to realize the reality of things, right? Like, I started to realize that the training there was not what I thought it was. I started to realize that a lot of the things that I had been saying for years was not true. I started to realize the equipment that I was pushing was not at all what it was that I thought it was. And I didn't want that to be true, because that being true meant very clearly one thing. I could no longer continue to sell it, because I refuse to sell something that I don't believe is truly the best for the customer. All right, I just won't do it. So by slowly realizing that I like can't morally justify selling a training that I just don't believe is actually good, and I can't morally justify selling equipment that I know is not good for the customer, it means I have to do something. I have to leave. Paramotor or something else. I couldn't stay. And I tried to deny that for a while, because by not staying, it meant that I had to either take the risk to go start a paramotor company, or I had to leave and go find a job. Like, something had to happen. And I didn't want that. I didn't want that to be true. You know, that took a while for me to just like process and accept and then decide to do something. And as soon as I got that point, it was very easy. As soon as I made the decision, it was very easy. I fulfilled the decision. I left and I started my school. And I'm grateful that right off the bat, it was successful enough for me to live. Like, I'm still very thankful for every single person that trusts me with their time, their money, and their energy. I'm very thankful for that. Let me see. What did you not feel comfortable? Yeah, there you go. When am I flying to Alaska? Maybe in August, John. The phone can travel. Lol. He's super. I heard Dell canceled his last class. He sure did. Dell converted me with his awesome flying skills. You are an awesome pilot, Andrew. I will tell you that. I am a psych nurse, can ask some off-the-wall questions. You are welcome to ask anything you want, Michael. I try and always be honest and answer as honestly as possible. Do you have a pole to kite up at your school? Only pole kiting on YouTube makes you a champion. I don't have a pole to climb up. I should get one and install it at my field. You're right. Are you going to Iceland? Sadly, Mark, I am not going to Iceland. That's honesty right there. I'm trying. Is the flat top really as indestructible as he says it is? Safest? That's two different questions. The flat top itself is a very, very strong paramotor. I will tell you that I think the Limitless is actually stronger sideways, like falling sideways, because, well, let me back up a little bit. If you fall sideways on a flat top, if you're a bigger guy over 180 pounds, you will bend the aluminum. Now you have to buy a $250 cage piece. If you fall sideways on a titanium paramotor and you bend it, you just bend it back. That right there, oh, I love that. That's one of the things I really enjoy about having the Limitless as my training unit, because when you fall sideways, you know what I do? Strap it down and just bend it back, versus having to buy a whole new cage piece, which I think is nice. Safest, Biker Mike. I think the flat top is the safest paramotor out there. You would need to define safety, and you would need to define safest. But I actually think for a lot of pilots, the flat top is actually a dangerous paramotor, more dangerous than other paramotors, because there's a lot of torque steer, and because of the low hook in points, there's a lot of gyroscopic precession and P factor. And what that basically means is if you're a lighter pilot, and there's a lot of weird geometry things that it does, that if you don't adjust it correctly or move correctly, you can increase the chances of these few things. And that is a riser twist. A flat top can get a riser twist really easily for a lightweight pilot. I have a buddy who was flying one, and I've been telling him, because they were light, you shouldn't be flying one. You're gonna see why at some point, and you're not gonna like it. They called me. They go, "You were right. It happened." And then they bought a Parajet that day, because I genuinely believe that that's actually a safer piece of equipment for most every pilot. The flat top has some very dangerous characteristics. Now, other things about the flat top. There's no better netting out there, and there's no stronger cage for not flexing into the prop. There's nothing that's better than that unit at those few things, right? It is extremely good at that. I think the crumple zone is a marketing pitch, and I think the quick release harness is probably one of the greatest features on the flat top. Like, a quick release harness is amazing. But also, trying to launch it is extremely difficult. And what I've learned recently, last 6 months, is, now I'm being really honest with you guys.
What I've learned in the last 6 months is that the guys that are not 23 and in peak shape of their life really struggle launching a flat tub. And you know what happens when you struggle to launch something? You know what really happens, whether you want to admit it or not? You stop flying. You just stop doing it. And how I know this is because I watched it year over year. People just stopped. They never even started. Because why? Well, it could be a mixture of things. But then you know what I realized is those same people that just suddenly stopped flying, as soon as I gave them something else to fly, now they're flying all the time. And I learned, like, come like October, November, that the equipment that you have is a much bigger deal in how often you fly and how much you fly and how much fun you have. All of that stuff ties into the equipment that you have. And so for the smaller guys, the older guys, anybody that struggled to launch that thing, all of a sudden, you just weren't flying. It just never worked. You just weren't doing it. Some guys it worked. Some people it worked great. Some people, I think it's probably the best paramotor for them. Very few, if any. And every single flat top guy that I've ever shown something else to, that I've ever let fly something else, all of a sudden buys something else. All of a sudden is flying something else. I know way too many people that are flying other things now because I showed them it. And as soon as you try something else, just like I tried something else, you can't go back. You are a stand-up dude. I think you had a hard road in the community, was times hostile due to your associates. You never fed into it. Thank you. It was very difficult. It took a lot of time of learning. It took a lot of learning to get there. You have charisma. That can't be taught. That's why you will succeed. I appreciate that. So the Dominator wing is unsafe? No, Dominator is very safe. Converted me to being Mormon. Oh, interesting. Dale refused to answer any questions I have for him on his YouTube channel. I've asked him to really